It's been 3 years, 5 months, and 29 days since intercontinental warfare took place on European soil. But yet again, we're back. It's the third iteration of the poLANd.tf Invitational. We have the reigning champions here, Witness Gaming, on a 6 LAN win streak, looking to retain the crown. Will Americans' finest be able to compete? Will they be able to snatch it off of their heads? Or maybe DM, the Premiership winners, might be able to compete as well. Or shall we even consider the team with the fanciest of elves? We have 3 days of competition, 60 matches, 16 teams, 1 winner. You're not going to want to miss this. Welcome to poLANd.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Base Stack Watch, where we're here for day number 3 of the 3rd International poLANd.tf LAN event. We're here with Wandom, we're here with Cerny. We've got 4 teams left. 14 teams made the trips here across 2 different continents and only 4 of them remain. We've obviously got Mandem up in that grand final. What a shock that was yesterday. Witness Gaming knocked down to the lower bracket, and then there's 2 more teams which we're going to have coming up soon. We've got White Lotus and we've got DM. Wow, and it was a wild day, wasn't it, yesterday?
Yeah, that was something special, I think. Mandem really sort of came into this tournament really firing at all cylinders. I think, especially last night, you could see what it meant to them to finally overcome that challenge. They have experience in the past of beating Witness, but only really in the regular season. And I was talking to Fancy a bit and after all the games, and he was like, yeah, I mean, in Season 45, we rolled them all the time in scrims, and we kept rolling them in scrims. We beat them in the season, and then we play them in the playoffs, and they just roll us. And having that experience of actually being able to overcome Witness now and having that belief going into the finals is going to be absolutely massive for Mandem. Yeah,
it was a wild day. Lots of crazy results coming in. So we can have a look at what we've missed if you've got people just coming in onto day 3. Should have some close ones coming up, but this is the full bracket. This is all of the knockouts. This is as at the start of the day yesterday. Other than the obvious one, the Mandem at 2-0 against Witness in the upper bracket final that you were wonderfully casted yesterday evening.
Yep.
Is there any other big results here you want to zero in on?
I mean, this DM Lotus matchup is somewhat interesting because DM, they are the Prem winners technically. They did beat Mandem online. Obviously, Mandem has been looking a lot better offline, and I was talking to Jordy earlier, and he was like, yeah, we're kind of better online than we're offline right now. But it would be quite the story. Can you imagine the story? DM sweeps the entire lower bracket. They go up against Mandem in the finals again and do it once more. The mental anguish for the Mandem boys would be just dastardly.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, right? Because obviously DM in there, the little like TF2 soldier with that weird hat on. The only loss they had, they dropped 1 map to Kickman Samurai in that first round of the upper bracket. Got a 2-1 win there. But since then, after they've been knocked into the lower bracket, they seem to have been cruising. They had a pretty nice win yesterday evening up against Joey Guns. So they're coming in on a good bit of form. Obviously, Bomo here in the flesh is a big deal for them. But up against their opponents, right, White Lotus, they had a good showing yesterday, didn't they, against Witness One?
Yeah, they were looking really good. I think for me, it's super interesting to consider that extra dynamic that Botma brings to the table, right, for this Maggot squad. And the fact that he's playing against a bunch of his former teammates, right? Like, he was in the finals of Denver playing with Caps, with Logan, right? And so the fact that they're now his opponents, these are players that he's played with for so long, having to play against them on a European squad is going to be super interesting. I think it's going to add a really interesting dynamic to this game because I can only imagine that neither side really wants to lose, right?
Yeah, there'll be top pressure for all these teams coming into this day number 4. What's it like, Cerny? Looking at this bracket, right? It's a gauntlet run for whichever team makes it through this. They're going to have to play 3 back-to-back series on LAN, on the progressive rule set as well. Do we think maybe these teams here, they're going to be in a bit of trouble, maybe pushing on to about, 11 p.m. tonight when the games finish?
It's a long day of TF2. I think this is the ultimate test of stamina. And if you're a team that can, stick through with that has that LAN experience, can manage to just keep going, has the mental as well, you're going to have a good chance. DM is a team that has good mental. They are probably equipped for this. They are ready. They are willing. They're keen. I mean, they were doing map reviews and stuff like that on the first day of LAN as well. So they're keen for this. I don't know how to gauge it for Lotus. They're just here to have fun, obviously, for main. If winning would be nice for them. If they can stick that out as well, yeah. And also, when you say 3 series, you're assuming they're beating Witness, which, I mean, they look a little bit out of form yesterday, but this is Witness we're talking about. The last time they got knocked into the lower bracket was at Denver. The last time it happened in Europe was probably 4 years ago or something. So they're not used to necessarily to being in the lower bracket, but when they do get knocked down, they come back stronger than ever the next day, usually. So, it's a tough battle.
Yeah, you mentioned there the White Lotus team. They're in a weird situation because they came in kind of as the second team from NA behind Fro. You look at their roster; it's absolutely stacked. But now they are the lone North America representatives in the bracket left in Fjord Gaming. Were out earlier, and I think this is a good time now. We can learn a bit more about this roster, think about what they had coming into it, learn some about their players, and why this team is making it to the top 4 of an Intercontinental LAN.
The White Lotus. The best of the best are always driven by competition. It's just a matter of how much they admit it. The allure of the best TF2 in the world on display in Wooge was too much to pass up for the White Lotus, and North America's most talented have come out of the woodwork to get a piece. What the White Lotus don't have in recent activity, they more than make up for with a head-to-toe, star-studded cast. Chris, formerly known as Caps, returns from a short vacation at the retirement home to lead his troops for one last ride. poLANd will be his chance to dust off the rust and cap off his career with a grand finale. Calm, cool, and collected is the name of his aim, as he presents some of the smoothest feats of raw deathmatch in the scene. Logan has quickly risen through the ranks of the world's top demomen, even surpassing Habib during his Leica G6 dominant LAN runs. A passive yet intentional demoman, his proactiveness in the spur of any moment, good or bad, gives his teams the plan B to salvage any situation that has gone awry. In any season he has competed in, Slemnish has consistently been one of the best scouts in North America for nearly a decade. A high-performance player, he's often the difference maker in fights, using his incredible DM to create openings for his team to capitalize on. His years of synergy with Jay will be one of the team's strongest weapons coming into the LAN. There's no need for introductions really for Jay Yunpei on Soldier. In fact, could you name a more iconic duo? A former international champion, Jay's a pioneer in elevating the art of rocket jumping, soldier aggression, and market gardening. If Jay is Jekyll, then High Five is Hyde. Plugging the gaps his team have called on him to fill, High Five is the executioner of delivering judgment on whomever enters the White Lotus's hit list. His reserved personality allows his vocal counterparts to dominate the comms, allowing him to focus on cleanup duty. Skis is your glue guy on Medic. Cool as a cucumber, Skis pushes positioning to its extremes and is highly revered as one of the most knowledgeable players in TF2. Renowned for his incredible game sense, calling, and LAN performances, it's no wonder that Skis remains a constant among North America's best teams. Make no mistake, However bad a fight might look or a match might be going, the White Lotus is filled with players chomping at the bit to make huge plays, and their opponents would do well to respect that. The world is their oyster, and the legacy they leave upon this scene will come to its climax in the city of Wuj.
Thank you so much, TC Mano, for the introduction to the White Lotus. And thank you to everyone over at Firesidecast who helped with the editing. What a fantastic video it was. And what a fantastic roster of 6 players we have ahead of us here in the White Lotus.
Yeah, I think for me, the standouts this tournament so far have really been Slemnish in on that scout. Chris also putting on a huge performance. And then I think Logan, for me, has been absolutely massive for this White Lotus team. I think we're coming into this tournament. The talk was in the tier list of Demo Man, you would kind of put Fancy and Lucas in that top tier, and then Logan and Sams were supposed to be a bit behind. But for me, honestly, Logan this tournament has been right up there with Lucas and Fancy, playing so well in their games so far.
Yeah, it's a wild roster to like have this potentially coming in as like the second team in North America behind Froyo, because every player is a multiple time invite winner. 5 of the 6 players on this roster have been in an intercontinental grand final before. Like, certainly, like does the experience we've got Chris, we've got Logan coming back from the Denver final, we've got Slem, Jay, Skis all there at previous ones, Jay even winning back at I-69. Does that experience at these like really big crunch moments at LANs, is that going to come into play?
Definitely. These players know exactly what they're doing, what it's like to be on the well, not the stage, but on the spot, right, for LAN, to be under the pressure, to have to perform to the highest of your abilities. Even if this is just a mixed team at the end of the day, they've only really been playing together for this LAN and a little bit in preparation maybe. They're all playing to the absolute peak of their performances. Even somebody like High Five, who's a scout main and just jumping in on on Soldier now, is still performing really well. Like, he's doing a magnificent job when he needs to. He steps up as much as he's needed to at the very least. And if, you know, Jay ever does get away with the shenanigans he wants to get away with, if he's been putting some matches, he's been on crazy stat lines on Roamer, which is like, how do you do that? You know, we don't see people doing that very often nowadays. The Roamer playstyle is you just keep flashbanging in, you go 3 and 20, and you somehow create a lot of space. But Jay somehow gets away with a lot of stuff sometimes that you really shouldn't be. So it goes down to the enemy team as well, maybe. But this is an unbelievably strong team, like, just on paper.
Yeah, Juan, I want to jump back a little bit to that game we saw yesterday afternoon, because I think coming into this LAN, obviously they tied with Mandem in the group stage, had an easy game in the first round of the upper bracket, and then they faced Witness, and they took that first map and that third map as well on Metalworks. It was so close to going either way. Like, what is it about this White Lotus team? Witness are the best team in the world. Like, what is it about them that you think lets them match Witness to that degree?
They have that sort of willingness to go in and meet Witness when they come forwards at you that most teams in Europe just kind of don't, right? Like I know that Witness base their style that they like to play off of a lot of the American teams, and these are a bunch of players that have those DM competencies that you need to be able to, whenever Witness go for those pressure plays that they love so much and kind of their trademark, breaking stalemates by pressuring you at multiple angles at the time, having Silanixi pressure you on the flank while Lucas is destroying you from the front as well. Having players that can match that DM is absolutely necessity to match up with a team like Witness. And it felt like, especially yesterday, the White Lotus were really ready to meet Witness at that level that they were coming at them with.
Yeah, it really turned into a frantic game, didn't it? It was a lot of back and forth fighting, and it got a bit chaotic, but White Lotus, they seemed to thrive in that. But one team who didn't, DM, they played Witness on day one. They got 5-0'd in, I think it was just under 13 minutes.
Yeah.
But they've bounced back. They've had a much better run coming into this. The roster is on screen, and one player I instantly want to start talking about is Bomo, because looking at that White Lotus roster, Bomo's played with a lot of them in the past. He's got a lot of friends at the other side of this screen who are going to turn into enemies for the next couple of hours.
Yeah, I mean, Bomo is like a stand-up player, right? Jumping in for this DM team, playing online with 90 ping, which, to be fair, on Scout isn't egregiously bad, but he's the first American to have won Prem 6s, which is, you know, it's happened in Highlander plenty of times, I think, but it's Highlander, who cares? But like, he's the first American to pull off winning 6s in Prem, which was, you know, it was an unbelievably close playoffs run final against Mandem. Heartbreaking for them, obviously, but DM really showing that if they can play their style of game, if they can stall, be slow, they are a force to be reckoned with. If they get a bit of control of the map that they want to have, and they can pull off their shenanigans, and Jordy can pull off his strategies, they're a fighting force for sure.
I think they absolutely are. I'm glad you point out Geordie because one thing I thought was really cool is so they played Kickman and Samurai in the first round of the bracket, and they dropped that first map, and they were like they were not happy with it, and they literally, like, after the game finished, nobody got up, no one went to the drink, no one went to the bathroom. They sat there for 10 whole minutes, and just Geordie talked. He just set everything right. He said everything straight, and he got themselves in the mindset to get themselves back into the series. And they did. They came back and they fought through. And now that unfortunately they got knocked into the lower bracket afterwards. But I think having that kind of like talismanic leader that's willing to come in with these kind of strategy calls in between maps is absolutely invaluable. But I don't know. Are we thinking like Juan? Like, what are we thinking about DM coming into this, right? Because I personally see them as the underdogs. I think if we just compare how they both fared against Witness, it's absolutely night and day. But do you think like this matchup like maybe plays into their favor a bit more than when they played Witness?
I think this is the biggest clash of styles between the top teams that we have at the tournament. Like, DM really, really favored that traditional European, really passive style of play where you only take precisely the risk you need to. They love holding back on last. We've seen that all the time. I think it's a weird situation for DM because they're coming into this LAN as ETSL champions. They managed to beat Mandem twice coming into this in very slow, long, grindy games, and I think that is that is kind of their strength, right? That's supposed to be their strength of having clearly in ETSL more mental resilience than their opponents. I think the Americans are a bit more used to playing on this extended overtime config, so maybe that's not as big an advantage there. I think for me, the question is, are the Maggots able to slow the game down enough to play at their pacing over just being bullied forwards by a White Lotus who keeps just wanting to go in and go in and go in?
Yeah, it's amazing to see, isn't it? Because yesterday, obviously, we saw when Witness played against the White Lotus, Witness were very happy to just take permanent fights, and it led to a very sort of chaotic, unbalanced game. But yeah, DM, that's not really their style. But certainly, do you think they're going to get away with sort of the shenanigans they got away with on online? Because honestly, like I was a hater, right? Watching those online games, they spent I think I counted across the upper bracket final and the grand final. I think they spent 45 minutes holding Metalworks last.
I was going to say, yeah, that sounds about right, actually.
It was 30 minutes in the first game, and then it was another like 15-20 before Mandem broke through on the grand final.
Great. How long did they spend on Metalworks in general? Like, it must have been like well over an hour, right? Like hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah, they played it twice, yeah.
That's absolutely crazy. I mean, yeah, like, I know Jordy's happy just sitting on last with the parachute and just doing whatever you can do to stall out and then only go for what you need to go for. I think that works well against teams that can't push last. And at least online, on Metalworks, Mandem did not know how to push last for the longest time. And it wasn't just Metalworks, it was also a bit on Sunshine. Both maps notoriously difficult to push, obviously. But this is a team that we're talking about with Lotus that they have a lot of experience. They know how to play in this config. They know how to play these maps, perhaps a bit better than Mandem did. Mandem, they were tilting, you know, they weren't feeling themselves. It's a different story. Like, I feel like if we're comparing online Mandem to LAN Mandem, they're almost completely different teams, in my opinion. So, like, we were talking about Mandem in this context, obviously online, and we're seeing the map picks coming in, actually. So Bagel being banned first, can't blame him. I don't think I can blame the DM for that one. I don't think they want to...
Yeah, you got to remember, right? Like, G6, the best Bagel team in the world, and they've got two of their core players as well. Chris and Logan absolutely love that map. So, yeah, Bagel, the first one to go. And Product goes back in return. And I think they know because G6 were good at Product, but there's one main reason why, and that is Bomo on the sniper. So, no King of the Hill for this lower bracket semi-final. But Juan, what are we thinking, right? So, it's going to be, this is a DM pick, I believe, coming up next? Or is it a Lotus pick? What maps are we expecting here, do you think?
Well, there's a Granary first pick here for the White Lotus. And I think that makes a lot of sense because that's a map where you sort of look at the individual player strengths.
You just beat Witness on it.
Yeah, exactly. They just beat Witness on it, who are supposedly the best Granary team in the world. Mandem replicated the feat as well. So I think that the jury's actually still out a bit on whether or not that's actually true. But yeah, obviously feeling themselves very strongly. This is a huge map for players like Logan and Slem who can do absolutely insane things on the map. I think it's going to play very well to them. Dirty Maggots, on the other hand, I'm really interested to see how they approach this. Because while I do think that, yeah, White Lotus managed to beat Witness, Lucas was kind of diffing Logan for a lot of the
Yes.
game. So we'll have to see what Zams can really do to bring it to Logan. Because this is one of those games where Zams needs to step up and needs to show that he can be a part of that top 4 demo conversation. That is not just the top 3, he's there as well.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it, with Granary? Because Logan had a bit of trouble, but I think Slem had an absolute life game, to be quite honest. I feel the soldiers obviously made a lot of work. High Five got onto auto multiple times. It's definitely a strong map for the White Lotus. But looking at this next pick now, it's going to be a pick up for DM. Are we thinking what we thinking? Like, do they go to Metalworks? They were picking that in ETF2L, or are they perhaps got something else in store for the Americans?
I would not be that surprised to see a process pick from the side of DM. They love themselves a bit of process. Wow, look at me.
Good call.
So smart. Yep. Only for genius pick. They really like this map. Their soldiers seem to be very comfortable with how they want to play the game. They play a very, very sort of passive, non-committal mid, where they'll send their soldiers up high just to make space so they can take high ground. And then they have that sort of extra gear that they can go into whenever they need it, where bot mode will play he will sometimes play up to 30, 40% of the map on Sniper. And it's really, really a map that works into those strengths for this team. So now it's Metalworks being banned away from the side of White Lotus. They clearly don't want to go to Metalworks after Process has already been picked.
Yeah, what are we thinking now, Sunny? We're between Gullywash and Sunshine, I believe, for the last map.
We haven't seen a lot of Gully at LAN at all. I don't think people like Gully as much
I
anymore.
love Gully.
Yeah, which is weird.
Gully's amazing.
Because people complain about... We're complaining about Snakewater for the longest time. It's impossible to push. And now we've got this being exposed from Metalworks and Sunshine. People are realizing, wait a minute, maybe there's other maps as well where pushing last is kind of sucks. And then you have Gully, which is a very unique map. It's completely different from most other maps we have in the pool, and yet people don't really like playing it for whatever reason. And it's kind of unfortunate, really. I don't know. One typically has something to say.
Gully's the best map in the pool.
See, there you go.
Yeah,
3 from 3 on that one.
I can go for it, right? There's all sorts you can do into Gullywash last. But I will say, I don't think we've seen a great deal of DM playing it, at least online. But it's, I know it's kind of a toss-up, right, between these last two. Sunshine, I believe there's... Yeah, as if we're gonna try and get Bomo on a sniper, maybe Gully last is better, but even still, it's you're a bit limited occasionally with that at the top level. There's a couple of spots you can play on the ring where you're not really visible from main. But I think it's all basically down to feel, right? Are they feeling confident in the K and Jordy soldiers, or are they feeling more confident in the Af and Bomo on Scout over on DM?
It's a tough call. I think either one works here, really.
I think if it's up to the Maggots, I think that they would prefer to go on Sunshine. I think it's a map that fits sort of more into their play style. They can run that sort of last setup that takes a while to break down. They have bot mode there as well to counter on the sniper and stuff. I think Gullywash would play a bit more into the White Lotus. It's sort of that sort of close-knit style on Gullywash and the relationship that you have. But it's actually a Gullywash pick. So Sunshine banned. We're going to Gullywash final game.
I'm so happy with that. I love Gullywash. Gullywash is great.
Yeah.
I'm so down for a decider on Gullywash. 5-4, crazy things happening. What about you, Cerny?
I'm loving just to see more Gullywash, man. I like this map. I want to see more of it. Interesting to see. I mean, again, as we just said, DM probably would have favored Sunshine. Would have agreed with that as well. They love that last hold. They love just being passive. So I guess they're feeling confident on Gully. Maybe they're feeling confident they're just going to get it in 2, so they didn't really care. It's also feasible, right? So if it goes to 3 maps, going to Gully... That's going to be a really interesting map to see. I think that's going to be where the styles are going to clash the most between these two teams, and it's going to be one to watch, definitely. Gullywash also a map where I think the mids are kind of important, more so than the other two, I think. It matters a lot more, and DM, they look pretty solid. Usually on their mids.
Well, it depends on the map, I think.
I
think
guess.
we were, if you remember the Metalworks games in the online, right? They lost every mid back to back, but it depends, right? Gullywash plays very differently to a lot of these of the mids in the pool, and it's clear some and something they've practiced. And I think coming into LAN, I don't recall their mids being as bad as they were. I know they dropped a couple of rough ones up against Kickman and Samurai earlier on. But yeah, as much as we'd love to get to Gullywash 1, do you think we're going to get there?
I think it really depends on how strong Dirty Maggots come out on Granary. I don't even know if I necessarily expect them to take a win, but I would really need to see them being properly competitive on Granary. I think notably, like, this is, I think Dirty Maggots over any other team. Jordy's the player that likes the parachute the most. He's, to me, the base jumper guy. Granary's the only map in this series where, like, that's actually useful. In on to that last point, with the skybox is that high. I wonder if there's some weird niche tech on mid. I would assume no, just because of how low HP you are in general, rolling out as a soldier anyway. Going in onto Granary, it kind of takes a while for you to get there, and that means you're kind of rocket jumping around. It's not amazing. But maybe we see it. I don't think we'll see. I mean, I know Jordy rolled out with the parachute once on Process mid. It was absolutely horrific. I hope he never does it again. It was terrible.
Yeah, that was in Prem playoffs, right?
Yeah, they did. They showed up, and he went up into the air, and then they sat, did nothing, and lost.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of those mid fights, to be quite honest, in those Prem playoffs.
Okay, but what about the new parachute tech that's been discovered? Especially on Gullywash.
We first saw that, actually. They used it on Process, didn't they, on day one? I think we saw it on stream. They used it on day one on Process.
Right,
They
yeah.
didn't let the Process roll out, but faster.
You know, some interesting, like, almost macros that you need to have a perfect, like, way faster rollout. You can beat the demo to mid easily with that, so maybe we'll see it.
It's like, for those of you that are unfamiliar, you can it's like a base jumper's C-tap, where if you can, like, if you time the rocket jump a tick after you activate the base jumper, it sends you with more momentum than, like, a crouch sticky will, and it allows you to go so fast if you do it properly. I know Jordy has been practicing it. He knows about the tech. This is something that's only really been publicly revealed, I think, at this LAN. So this is the first time
I'd never seen it before Friday.
But it is something that Jordy is very proficient at and capable of doing should he need to. And seeing it would be really cool.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Over to Granary, though, which will be the first map. I'm coming into this. I was really impressed by White Lotus yesterday. I think they're coming into this as big favourites, personally. And on their map pick, do we see DM having much of a chance? Do you think they're gonna come out fighting on this one, or do you think maybe they're sort of these mids that we saw from White Lotus yesterday going to be too much?
It's a tough call. I think, like, realistically, Logan should beat Sams on the mids because he's the better demo man. But when it comes down to the soldiers, I think the soldier matchup is rather equal. Like, it's pretty even across the board. Like, Kayan is really, really good. He's really strong. And if he gets away with the mids he wants to play, then I mean Granary is the soldier map until people realize that you can just use the winger, and now it's a scout map, right? And at that point, it's a toss-up. I really think that it's going to be really hard to call just by theory crafting. We're really just going to have to see how the first mid plays, how the teams approach it, and then also how they adapt to each other, right? Because there are different strategies you have to do these Granary mids, which side you want to take, how you want to rotate. Do you play top? Do you try to hide a little bit, play a little bit around the crates? Because there is so little vision on that mid. I think that's going to be how we're going to see how these teams approach this, right? And then from that, they can spiral, I suppose.
It's a weird one, right? Because I want to sort of censor in, because we saw White Lotus play this yesterday. They took the map of Witness, but like you said before, Juan, Logan had trouble up against Lucas. Lucas had a fantastic game. This time around, Zams, who by some accounts I've heard has maybe been having a bit of a quiet one this LAN. Zams, this is for me like a time when he can really show himself. You said before about sort of in like the demo power ranking, like it's Logan and Zams are like in sort of the A tier. Yeah. How big is this demo matchup on Granary?
It's I think especially on mids is absolutely everything to deciding the overall tempo of the mid fight, right? Like both teams will really need that demo man to be alive and to be able to shoot stickies across the point to actually be able to initiate that initial aggression that you want on a typical Granary mid. This is not a mid where we're expecting neither skis nor Juxta to actually come out on top most of the time or survive. I think having a medic alive after a Granary victory or Granary mid-fight victory is usually a luxury as well. It's but it really all starts with the demo men being alive, right? So we'll have to wait and see if Zams can do it. I have faith that he will. But I also do think that maybe he's sort of shifted roles a little bit in the team as well. He doesn't have to play the same sort of super combo-centric style. He kind of mirrors the play style of his team in that sense, where he is just that bit more reserved, a bit more passive. And he's not so much in the face of the other team, And that maybe means that just from the pure eye test, you might not see the sort of brilliance that he has.
Yeah, he sort of went under the radar for quite a while, like even kind of despite winning Prem back in, I think it was 2023.
Yeah.
All the way back at the first season that Witness took the gap when TLR snuck that victory in that grand final. But since then, I feel like he's kind of slowly been getting better and better and better. And I think as of like the Poland final here last year, when he came second, people were like realizing, wait a sec, this guy's like actually legit.
I mean, he for sure has the talent to match the top demo man in Europe. And he has been a top demo man in Europe for ages. There's a reason that when Fancy couldn't come to Poland last year, they decided to get Zams in because he is just the next guy up, right? And he should be really strong. I had a lot of fun actually reading comments and takes from people shadowboxing him against all the demo men that were at Denver. And it was really interesting to hear that comparison because obviously Lucas came across to Denver, but we didn't have Fancy, and I don't think Logan played his best tournament there. Logan seems to be in much better shape now. So this is going to be a really exciting demo man game. I think for me, the other matchup we have to remember, though, I think this is going to be especially on Process, but also a little bit on Granary. This might be a bit of a Slemnish versus bot mode showdown.
It could, and I can see that we've got a few players joining in onto the server now. Before we go into full predictions, we're going to do a bit of a different prediction first. Obviously, Witness Gaming knocked into the lower bracket. The winner of this matchup will play them in the lower bracket final. Which of these two teams do you think has a better chance against Witness?
White Lotus. Not even
no
a doubt.
thinking, no doubt at all.
Every single time DM have fought Witness, they have lost. And they didn't just lose, they get absolutely destroyed every single time. Now, they could have done their homework. They could have obviously gotten better. And I would argue their more recent results are less disastrous. But they just do not have a response to the Witness playstyle whatsoever. Meanwhile, White Lotus managed to at least take a map off of them, right? So I think there's no shot that DM are going to perform against Witness whatsoever.
All right, that's a scathing review there from Cerny. But we're here and we're getting some players in the server, so it's going to be final prediction time. But just predictions for Granary. How do you think it's going to go, Juan?
I think this might... it all comes down to whether or not White Lotus are allowed to set the pace or not. Which team gets that tempo upper hand? But I honestly think on Granary, considering how well White Lotus were playing it last night, I don't know if Maggots are ready to respond. I hate to say it. I think I'm going to go 5-2 for the White Lotus hero map number 1.
What about you, Cerny?
I think if DM are allowed to play as slowly as they want to, it's going to be more grueling. We're going to go into overtime. I do agree that Lotus is probably still going to win, but it's more of a 4-2 or 3-2 or something like that. It's not going to go to 5 at least. It's going to be slower, more grueling.
All right, well, thank you, Cerny, and thank you, Juan. We'll see what happens in the server because we're about to throw over to our casters for the lower bracket semi-final. We've got Tomato and we've got Turbo Tabs.
Hello, world. Hello, North America. Hello, Europe. But most importantly, hello, Luch and Poland crowd out there. We have a victory road, mayhaps, for the Americans ahead of us. Now they're on European soil. We had a wonderful show of them yesterday. They took it to Witness Gaming. They claimed Granary. They took it to the best of 3, ultimately falling. Dirty Maggots being a bit slaughtered by Mandem, but Dirty Maggots did their homework. White Lotus is brimming with life. Turbo Taps, this will be a game.
Yes, this will be a game. I'm happy with all the teams that made it so far. I feel like all of them have shown some sort of pedigree, so I'm going to be happy with whatever team is going to make it up against Witness and whoever's going to make it into that grand final. But we're starting off here. If you're just joining us, this is White Lotus versus DM. It's our low bracket semi-final. Take it away on mid.
Let's send it here as White Lotus in the red, DM in the blue. Jordy's already on the lamp here, landing one rocket into skis. He doesn't keep alive. No, it's a karma nuke. KN! Juxta is alive, still in the garage, parking him there. High five, down low, clap. They have F and Juxta.
Mission accomplished though. Juxta is alive and Skis is dead. So it's taking the playbook out of the Witness playbook. So they could hope that if they just roll this uber advantage all the way to the enemy last, they can gain the round through that rather than just, taking out those combat classes at the start of mid.
And now it's an important scenario, an important question to ask. I mean, usually you bunker, but definitely not if you have such a large room advantage. F already has his eyes peered toward the roof. They are stickies, they are diffused.
Are they fully diffused? I think there was a pile that they missed, but I don't think they're going to manage to get anybody with those stickies. But right now, it's just about DM navigating and see if they can get into mid and make use of the supercharge before White Lotus build up theirs.
Maneuvering, Zams has some stickies on top of the crate. That discourages Jay from assuming any for one wall here. Also, Juxta down to 60 HP has to pop it. Jay is sacrificing himself for the force.
That was very, very well done by Jay. He was basically alone when he made that force. All the rest of White Lotus were cleanly out, so no support, no even spam coming out from his compadre. So big credit to Jay for actually finding the force there. Now White Lotus have a chance to strike back.
Logan takes some decent rockets here by KN. He wanted to clap down a combo member that might have been the main recipient of this overcharge, or even slowly going to poke and prod at the seams. Also, you saw the katana before by Logan because that is going to increase the building rate. However, it's a slower approach here. Juxta on 80% at least.
Yeah, they get 3 picks though, however, against DM, so that should be enough to navigate into second and kind of dissuade them. KN thought about going from the forward, but decided better against it. It is the first mighty round after all.
High five! And down low is the enemy soldier. That was clapped down. He does not leave them hanging. Bot mode already on the sniper class here. Ultimately, it is Jordi with the victory on the beam. This forward fray is called off.
Okay, they lose Jordi at top, and they lose KN as well. This is definitely an opportunity for White Lotus to pay off. Sadly, they do lose Jay somewhere in the foray, so they're a bit dissuaded. Oh no, they're not dissuaded at all. Chris is fully in. He feels a bit confident that he could just make his way. There's no sentry gun to be seen, so they could make this work. The only thing pushing them back is this bot mode heavy.
F is ultimately clapped down. He didn't have a healing beam, but it is still the sticky trap. Zams has Chris locked out of there. It is an A team. They will barely ever relent. This is sometimes what the Europeans have to get used to it. Slamnish on the freedom staff. How American do you want this to be? But it is a sniper.
Alright, so we'll see what you can fish out here. Obviously it's going to be sniper versus... Oh wait, no, there was no sniper versus sniper. Alpha went on to engineer instead. So they didn't do any class checking, so this should come as quite a shock on the first shot from Slamnish. So the most important shot here.
Ooh, he was staying there momentarily. Slamnish not creeping around the corner enough. Also, the stickies are obviously watched by Zams, so he has to pry himself into forward position. The rockets are flung forward. Jay is culled.
Yep, KN getting a pick. That's annoying. Makes it so even if Slamnish gets a pick on someone here, it's not as really as potent for them to push off. Unless it's something huge like a demo man pick or a medic pick.
Now you do have your rivalry here in terms of snipers, in terms of nationality. Bot mode versus Slamnish.
Okay, so counter sniper with sniper, easy. Bot mode should just be a constant watch for Slamnish.
Jordi is culling this flank. It is pacified for the moment.
Yep, bot mode, playing just one door, expecting a shutter press. But I think he's actually moved away, so these snipers are having a tough time of finding each other.
Not yet. It is only 2 minutes here with this progressive overtime rule, or even just the 4 minutes that are now on the timetable on top, not 5 minutes as we are used to from before. Slamnish has high five there, who tries to fire aggressive shots forward. Does bot mode PK anyone? Doesn't find a favorable angle.
No, it's really hard to get these initial
Slamnish, headshot.
He got the headshot onto bot mode, so he's going to be freed up over on Slamnish. He's going to not feel that pressure apart from any of these spam classes, so expect some hero shots here, I think.
Lots of damage coming out of Zams, however, Jordi as well. The sentry gun shot down to around 50 HP. High five is also locked out of this entranceway by Zams' protective stickies.
1 minute left on the clock. They can't keep waiting for too long over on the side of White Lotus, otherwise we will go to a round reset. So expect maybe just an Uber push in despite having no pick with the sniper.
Maybe even a favorable angle here. I mean, the problem is if you go for the hero shot and you die, you don't really have that much time. So let's just send it straight and have some Round claimed by the sheer fact that we use an Uber. Juxta pops significantly later, however. Down crit charge comes out here. The Frontier Justice. Nothing is found. It's still 6 versus 6 right now.
Bot mode kind of overextending onto White Lotus there. I guess he just wanted to get proactive and make sure that they weren't like slowly playing out the fight. But this allows a lot of room for Sniper. Remember, no counter Sniper for this, and there's no sentry gun to kind of pressure off the Sniper as well. They're just fishing right now for any sort of Sniper pick. I'm not finding any, and they're slowly losing members
Juxta
on the
down.
side of White Lotus.
But it is not enough. This culminates probably in a soonish time fashion. A wipe, and you can push on to the second point. Juxta, though, also went down. So do you even cap? I would advise to you, probably not, since Juxta on a late spawn.
Yeah, you're right. Without Juxta, they don't really come into this with an initial advantage. So they're probably just going to let the time tick down, like you said, and just go to a mid-fighting as well. They've only had one mid-fight so far, so it's still kind of up in the air who has that mid-fight dominance.
They simply wanted to pet their fantasy.tf stats, I suppose, in the end. But it was interesting seeing this last point played out. You lose your defensive sniper. It was, though, F controlling a high ground, Jordi controlling a high ground, Zems behind the wall. So the projectile classes were shutting this down very adeptly. And we enter a secondary mid-fight.
I'm interested to see if DM just go for medics again over against White Lotus, and White Lotus, whether or not they can push them all the way back to last rather than just second.
Two rockets, oh, he doesn't hit the final rocket here. Jay, high five though, in the garage. They cannot apprehend Juxta. Enchanté ou Désenchanté, it seems to be Enchanté as he is still up alive here on the field. Pushes some very aggressive heals forward. F wins that adeptly with the help of his lethal scattergun against Slapdash.
King Blob of DM does win out this mid-fight, just keeping Juxta alive, and Juxta kind of showing some star power there, keeping himself alive by just dodging around so well.
Jordi opens this all up. You have to keep in mind as well, he's had a 20% Uber deficiency onto Juxta. They were building better. They flustered them out of this mid-fight. Jordi took it slow. Jordi took it progressively. Now, it might be a mild bit of a stalemate. So now is the question that arises, where do you pressure from? Lunchbox seems to be the way.
Yep, they're going with double soldiers, see if they can just catch somebody out with duo rockets. Kane's going to have a poke top just to secure the area, make sure there's no shenanigans happening. They're going to get the beams, so looking to see if they find that easy pick onto the scout. That's step one, but it's not the full complete steps for them to make this push across second.
You do have a lot of ancillary players, aiding players here. Jordi also decent enough high up on the health bars and on the fitness. They want to clamor for some more frags here, but High Five is surfing this out very well, keeping their resources in the game.
Oh no, they lost Zams, they lost Botmo, and they lost KN on the flank here. It was nice synchronized play from White Lotus, or maybe just bad timing for poor DM. So now they're on the back foot, and Jay can go hunting. That's like 3 players they could spend for free trying to get this medic down.
They're still not out of harm's way yet. They have the faster spawn timers though. 1 second only on those forward spawners, but Chris does not want to relent here. The second gun is still in the hand. High Five is shot here on Juxta, but no. Sidesteps the first rocket, second rocket surf. Still 100 HP. Quite a daunting prospect. They could have been cut out. They were able to leave.
Yeah, I think not enough onus put onto Juxta's life. I think they could have thrown a couple more people from White Lotus to kind of get the medic advantage out for them, but instead they just wanted to stack the point instead. Playing safer, playing just less risk TF2, I guess.
Very difficult though to dislodge Jay without suffering a casualty. It is the trade out onto bot mode. They were sending 2 players behind to deal with that foray of this aggressive soldier. High Five keeps alive. Pressure cooking, 1 for 1.
Yep, it's the El Clasico, like mid to yard connecting stalemate. I hope you guys have packed a lunch here, because I expect we're going to be here for a while.
I do hope that they have packed a punch here, as I am not letting go on the casting, and they are not letting go on delivering, as the Americans usually quite proactive if you just judge it off how Europeans play this. But having your spawners now, having the shots fired forward. Let's see if they can pry something over.
Well, you can see what they're trying to do here. They're trying to spam with high five, get the medic just a little bit chipped, a little bit peppered, you know, and then hopefully it can open avenues for Jay or maybe a scout to get in. But in all this peppering moments, they lend themselves a little weak. They actually allow them the 2 picks, and they can get back in. They pop off the Uber charge. They found weakness. Zams has been left behind. No health back for you. And that is a technical 3 pick, so they can just be happy with that and claim the mid point. But they're coming back in. White Lotus, they're going to block with the Uber charge.
It was only a momentary advantage here. If periodically Slamnish can slam down some more players, they do not even have to use the Uber. They had faster spawn. Skis went down to 40 HP, had to pop it, not risking dropping it since Jordi jumped in, whereas Chris is still bulldozing forward. It's still 2 players down and a mid-point security. However, bot mode responds in kind onto Logan.
Yeah, he's a deadly little disease working the back lines and kind of threatening any sort of like back caps and just being annoying and just rupturing things from behind while all the chaos is happening. And his teammates can't call for help because they're too busy shouting over him to fight the main.
What is also integral to realize, Skis popped significantly later while only being on 40 HP, so they have a moderate Uber advantage here to feature, and if they're on the aggressive front foot, yes, that sent it a huge pre-shot rocket though. Discourages KN and Jordi from coming up any closer here. It is a very difficult scenario though. You do have an Uber advantage, but you have to fight into a high ground, and now it's a force. Yeah,
nice jump by Jay. I imagine Zams thought like, okay, I've dealt with Jay, guys. I've swatted him away, but he comes back relatively quickly compared to a lot of other soldiers. And they try their best to kind of use what they can from this post-Uber fight against Zams and company, but they can't really find them. That scout taxi just too powerful.
Chris is basically doing it by himself. They were pretty fortunate on the side of Dirty Maggots that Logan was denied this entranceway, was bumped around a little bit. If he's also involved in this Uber, well, that's a completely different ballpark, but they want to take this try here already. Bot mode not hitting the shot, has some more soon-to-be corpses. However, to rattle the final death rattles here might enable some more cap time gain. It is already half-time cap, so much cap time claimed, and now all of them have to route onto this point. Can they win this deathmatch? Logan only 70 HP.
Oh, it's just, it was a little worrying for DM there, the fact that there was a lot of missed shots from bot mode on Sniper, but he does come back and his team's almost managed to bot the point, and Skis will go down, but fortunately he's on the same sort of respawn wave as Logan.
Incredible bolt, by the way, into Slamnish down to 4 HP, but Juxta has his compadre fully set up. They were juxtaposed to a lot of sanguine players, and now 100% here feature in the bank. They had difficulties with pushing an Uber advantage before into the midpoint, but all of the ground is seeded. Jay is also turned into the ground where he once sprung from.
Yeah, this has turned into a stealth game for White Lotus at this point. With Skis going down, all you're going to see is just like random little assassins going at the life of Juxta, and it's all of DM's job to just make sure that nobody kind of finds him. So check for those corner goblins, check for any sticky traps, and watch out for any sort of mindless jumps.
Still pressure cooking though, already coming close here through Lunchbox. However, Jay has spotted their foray, their volleys, and not able to really put anyone into the dumpster, but it nets them the second point. Now, flip-flop scenario. Oh, no, never mind. A lot of red players still forward.
Yeah, they're poking, they're pushing these people on the flank that don't have any heals to kind of abuse over on White Lotus. They have to rotate round now, and with that, the second point has been claimed.
That was quite lucky, I shall dare even say, as only Chris went down there. Jordi already is making landfall here. Jay ultimately dominated by F, who follows this up. KN is leaping into the sky. They are playing this point here. Zems has stickies forward. Zems packs a BAMS as he is just nuking them forward here. It's a lot of a longer glow here for the red team, but they do not feature anyone. Zems is basically manhandling them.
Yeah, but they're actually picking off all these players that are away from the beam from White Lotus. You can see that Zams did so much damage on his Uber charge, and it was a pretty simple Uber. They popped so much earlier, we could pop so much shenanigans happening. They're going to get the beam, so looking to see the how that he can get back in. They pop off the Uber charge. They found weakness. Zams has been left behind. No.
It is stayed very difficult scenario. You have Uber bench, but you have to fight into a high ground, and now
the fact that there was a lot of missed shots from bot mode on Sniper, but he does come back, and his team almost managed to bot the point, and Skis will go down.
but it was not to be.
I know what you're thinking, team. Like, oh, guys, they scored a round. Can you put the thing? Our little score ticker isn't working right now. So just imagine that DM has 1 point over White Lotus right now.
You have to have that mental task.
There we go.
Brainial brilliance, I should rather say. It's Jordy jumping here onto skis. He lives though. He lives.
That didn't go to plan. They literally kind of poured a lot into the bucket of killing off skis and then getting out with Juxta. They were already out with Juxta. Look how far they're already assuming that skis would have gone down there.
Indeed, but skis is keeping himself alive. The players surrounding him keep him alive. It's another flip-flop scenario. At least Juxta lives, but White Lotus do have the impetus.
Yeah, this is part of the risk of going for the medic play, and if it's not working out, you kind of give up so much ground and so much player that it's basically a low risk, but it's like a high price.
Trying to opt out what side we are entering from here. It seems to be the right side. From his POV, he is only chipping away at players on top, also denying sort of crit heals. The sentry gun is immediately in the process of being built, but it nets them 3 picks.
Yeah, pretty good
4
value.
picks.
4 picks. 5 picks! Can I hear 6 picks?
Do I hear any more? No, skis runs out.
Yeah, he's got 100% Uber charge though, so this is I've never heard of the 5-man sack before.
I'm not sure if skis has heard that before, but they get all of their forward spawns, bar high 5.
Okay, so this isn't the worst in the world. We're just setting up for a yard defense. Only high 5 can, but he's a soldier. He can catch up really good. The soldier's in, and the soldier's out.
That was so close on Juxta. I mean, close on any other medic as well, but you know, and you can trust into Juxta's mechanics. He is making a name for himself. Jordy now is a bit bombed around, but it doesn't seem to be any pressure entrance.
White Lotus has been punished a lot in these sorts of situations where they've been trying to go for the spam onto Juxta and then caught up a little bit at the doors. I want to see how they kind of adjust it. Oh, they're just going to sniper. Okay. Why adjust when you can just change?
With a frying pan, let's see what Jay, though not Slamnish, is cooking with his primary, most probably.
All right, so yeah, wait for sniper. There's nothing to really
wait for
comment
sniper!
here.
oh, Jay!
I mean, he's dancing. He's very dangerous.
Juxta!
Why is he testing him so much?
The moves of the Frenchman there.
He's teasing him. Look at this.
What are you doing?
Oh, Jay brought down solo. They're pumping so many heals into the lad, but they're actually getting a lot of spam. They actually find the first pick over against a demo man. That's just as valuable, I would say, as against a medic. So
and it keeps cascading here. Chris is so far forward. We've seen that before. The healing beam is not attached to him, though. F has 6 scattergun shots attached to him. You can unleash that volley with one singular shot. One press of a button here. F so far forward. They have to make out the deficiencies. The Juxta is now down. They wanted to play forward because they have late spawners and you need to clump them in. But no, it's White Lotus having so much cap time drained. There are also bolts fired. Stickies, pipes, 1-1.
Yeah, that was save your friend syndrome a little bit from Juxta. I think he wanted to support Af in like his attempt to keep that door barred, but I think Af was doing a pretty fine job without any sort of heals. Yeah, pretty good value. You have those buffs coming in from Juxta on all those respawning players. You're basically getting pretty good value book out of all these respawns. 5 picks! Can I hear 6 picks?
Do I hear
so many heals into the lad, but they're actually getting a lot of spam.
The Juxta is now down! They wanted to play forward because they have late spawn. 1-1, and let's see how that works out once we enter the third fight.
Where is everyone? Okay,
in the sky.
They're taking their sweet time over on DM, but they finally come in now. Jordy brought down so low, he's practically useless, so 3 players instantly cleaned up and targeted. It does make me wonder, does DM just come to mid a bit slow?
They have to leave, however, and this is not even a safe bet out. Juxta surfs out. Zems has wonderful pipes there and stickies to discourage them from pushing out any further, but I do think that speed definitely does play a role in losing the mid-fight.
Yeah, the ramp room is a bit slower for a lot of teams, so I guess what
they're already in?
Disadvantage. High 5 in, high 5 air shotted, and high 5 down.
That was a Goomba Stomp and a mid-air shot. It's also Jay unleashing hell, Slamish as well. It's a 3 versus 2 scenario right now. Both medics unforced, unscathed.
DM, I don't think they want to make a push out for this. They want something more tastier, something like an Uber advantage, a lot more players up. So they're just going to get settled here. They're going to get nestled. We're going to start swapping up unlocks, probably. So let's see what White Lotus can kind of conduct in the laboratory to deal with this concoction.
The parachute, they are cooking up the most hideous sight if you listen to players from yesterday on the couch. It is the parachute you can basically hover around in the skybox, a UFO, alienating those players, trying to shoot you, but it is them, again, assuming the right side here, the White Lotus, but it seems to be the shot onto the parachuting player.
You know, if there was any justice in the world, if we actually hit a player with that parachute, they should just die in a million pieces. But no, he still has the full regular health of a soldier.
And it should also have an in-game announcement. For example, Jordi got absolutely smacked.
Yeah, maybe that's what the
F is coming closer
are.
with the sniper. They opened the shutter. They were so close. Skis not out of harm's way yet before, but now, and Jay also comes back once more on sniper.
Okay, so they're feeling good on the sniper class. Obviously, that first stint that Jay had kind of opened things up for White Lotus in their previous round. So let's see if he can follow up on this round potential for White Lotus.
Does he have wall hacks? He's seeing the teleporter exit. I hope it doesn't isn't threatened enough, but KN on the top barrels, they're basically on the steel beam. 9 and 18 here on Jay. You can.
They got this. They spammed down the sentry gun all raw.
I mean, it is definitely allowing some entrance way. However, Jay is assuming a top position.
Okay, well, they're not assuming the right plays if they think DM is going to poke at points like this.
Definitely not. But Logan also shot down to 20 HP. Chris, they were trying to go for different sides. The problem is a medic beam and even bolts can only be applied to one location. Also, keep in mind, 3 minutes still on the normal clock here and 1.5 minutes until it resets.
You know, I'm not sure if these players treat Sniper enough as like a pick class where, oh, okay, overextending into the stickies possibly, but not detting immediately on Zams. I guess too busy getting shot.
Slemnish as well is being shot a proportionate dosage of destruction in a single 1v1 unleashed, but in the grand scheme of things, nothing really changes. Only about 1 minute here to go until we reset. I have no idea what Jay's doing, but I guess it works.
I think they're just looking to see what doors this team can navigate and kind of make space for him to get in from.
Could be the case. I mean, you really have to trust into your own players jaywalking to enable Jay here a little bit of space, but the stickies are on top, still present a daunting prospect. Now they're diffused and no team has Ubered yet.
Yeah, well, not even 1 minute left, 45 seconds left, so they're going in for an Uber, seeing if they take the Uber exchange. They take out the sentry gun, they navigate Chris out, and they just want the Ubers out of exchange here. Hopefully potential for dry pushing later on. But Jay, expect him to get a bit brave here.
Maneuvering to the right side, helped out by
He got
Logan.
a body shot.
Doesn't find the follow-up. Headshot though, but it is Slemnish absolutely slamming KN on the ground there, on the barrels. Jay is still in here, not contested at all, aside from Zams, and they're slowly prying this open. High five balls, so Jay is able to leave, but probably not enough time.
Yeah, 10 seconds left. It's just not possible at this point.
Hello, bot mode. Oh, come on. 1v1, the typical one on sixes, but 3, 2, 1, and 0 as we are already on the brink of seeing the fourth mid-fight. It is Granary, it is a stalemate, but it is most importantly the progressive overtime rule set.
Welcome to Serious TF2. This is going to get a lot slower, a lot quicker, and a lot less dangerous, I would say. You don't want to play your risk so much. You don't want to kind of shoot yourself in the foot straight away. So expect these players to be a lot more cold and calculated further on out.
It's 1 minute on the overall timer, so if that ticks down now and no team has time to obviously cap another round, the first one that secures a 2-pointer there on the scoreline will win this. But you already saw before, White Lotus had way better mid-fights here, not hitting the air shot. Jay is immediately discouraged of assuming high position. Skis is down though.
Okay.
KN came in from the alleyway.
And they're not even thinking about trying to get Juxta out at this point. They think they can sustain and actually salvage.
Logan is in though. Can he hit another pipe? Does not. It's a full wipe if you look on the right side of your screen.
Look, they're already making their way 2 seconds now. They can maybe catch Jay off guard. Oh no, it doesn't quite. Maybe a couple of seconds here or there between both players, and that could have been a free pick. A crit.
The crits comes out. Inject paranoia, desperation might seep in as you have to stare down the barrel of a 100% Uber charge in Jaxta's Medigun. You don't need to visit Premiership 6s, you already know that a Uber is usually superior to the crits, but they have to find entrance. Cedrigan already level 2.
All right, so what we got defense-wise, we got sniper, engineer, so they're going to have to first take out the sentry gun, check. Now we need to kind of see if we can pressure out the medic, make sure they don't have that safety net, and maybe even take out the sniper as well. They couldn't find him, but the soldier's doing a good job of blocking the initial point, but they're losing a lot of frags here on both sides. The scouts are alive and healthy for DM, and Am has the chance to just farm all these remaining players. It's just one lowly little demo man against the world, but what are they to do when DM has a nice Uber charge advantage to go in?
DM is claiming the superiority and we have the camera now set in the victorious booth, in the victorious cabin of those players. It wasn't even that long.
Wow, look at the differences between the camera quality. I guess we can only afford DM the 360p, and while we got full fat 4K, resolution for the other team, the Americans, they just have everything more expensive.
Or maybe you could even say one team is asking, please pixelate our camera. We are still hiding strats. We are hiding it for maybe
the DM files. Yes.
Coming up. And the desk is ready. Let's see what camera we have provided there, but we have a wonderful array of sweet voices to talk us through this very first map.
The Wandom files.
Thank you very much, Tomato, for the wonderful transition there. We sent Ben on a mission with a camera, and so that means that me and my bitrate destroying shirt am now sitting in the host seat. But we found her ample replacement. Hello, Piggles. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Piggles, you're sitting this one out now at this point. How's the tournament been for you so far?
It's great. Very, very competitive. Just the teams are very, very close at top level. This is really, really good. Like, this is some of the top level TF2 you're going to see potentially in this calendar year. I have an issue. We can't go behind them to have a look. We can't do that. They've closed the rooms. That's wrong. I don't think that's right. The Americans have got a room where we can't go in, where there's 18 PCs. They've reserved 18. Can't go in a big room like that. That's messed up. It is what it is. It's not right, but we'll talk about that another time. But you're going to see more high-level TF2 because of that. There's no distractions. There's no LAN experience in those rooms because you can't go in those rooms to spectate. So the gameplay itself, it's going to resonate in that gameplay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. How do you feel about the gameplay of that first little map down Granary? That was White Lotus's pick, and DM actually managed to come out on top. It was pretty close, but it was a 2-1 in the end for Dirty Maggots.
It's the classic case of people look at Granary and they go, "Oh my God, it's Granary! It's the slowest map in the world." I rarely play a slow map of Granary, and that is another case and point there. That was a fast map of Granary. I think the start might have there was some nerves at the start. It might have been a little slow. But as it picked up, I think it was quick. I didn't see the start, so I don't really know. But I think towards the end, it looked fast. It was getting towards back and forth. They got coasted to coasted, didn't they? Was there a last to last at one point? I think I saw a last to last. So yeah, it's a very, very fast map, which is rare for the Dirty Maggots.
Yeah, I'm really impressed to see them sort of match that playstyle. I think we were talking about on the desk before we were going live that really this would come down to sort of a battle of tempo, like who would get to sort of set that initial tempo. It looks like the Maggots were willing to meet the Americans where they were. Sonny, how are you feeling about that map? Anyone standing out to you?
I think all the players in the server did well. Okay, it's like a very diplomatic thing to say. I mean, all things considered, even though Lotus couldn't pull through, I think they still played really well. They had a lot of attempts into last. They just couldn't quite get the pushes to stick most of the time. It's kind of been a trend in this LAN with a lot of last pushes on a lot of maps, and it doesn't really surprise me that Granary is the one where that necessarily happens. But yeah, I was really surprised by DM actually like playing actively, like playing the games instead of just sitting back and like making moves themselves and stuff. That's not something they've been doing a lot, and maybe it shows. Maybe it's like the evolution of LAN, right? Maybe there's some replays as well. We were talking about those earlier, how sometimes they might be unnecessary, but I'm sure there's some good ones here. Look at that. Ooh, beautiful little frag onto the demo.
Oh yeah, I need a mic. Thing is, right, with the Dirty Maggot gameplay, right? As we all know, you got to speculate to accumulate. And so if they don't push and do stuff, they're not speculating, you're not accumulating. They need to be doing stuff. And I think they now know this. And to match the American, they say American play style. I don't know what it's like nowadays, whether it is like as different as we all say. It's definitely different, but whether it's like they always play aggro. Americans are always aggro. They're the aggro continent. I don't know if that's real. I don't really follow NA, but for the maggots to play like that, it's clearly, it's proved its worth. And it's proved to have a good game. So the next map is, what's it? Is it a process?
It's going to be process. Look at AF's KD on your screen right now. 28 for 4. You played with AF. You're on this Maggots team originally, Piggles. How are you feeling about this?
I never played with that AF. The AF I played with was never that. That is incredible. But look at that. Well, who is he eating there? That looks like it's the soldiers. Is that the soldiers that he's eating up?
Looks like it. Looks like Jay going about 9 for 18 there.
A 2-1 with the med def difference as well. That is, I don't like to look too deep into stats, especially med defs, because it depends on playstyle, but I do think that is probably a monumental difference in such a close game.
I've had 4 med picks this game.
So what was it, just dodgy trades, do we know?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I think it looked a bit weird. The White Lotus combo is like, we were talking about this, that there seems to be a little bit of a mismatch, right? Between kind of where Skis is and where the rest of its team is a lot of the time.
Okay. Is that real? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. I
no,
didn't pay attention,
I'm saying
I'll be
this now. I'm
honest.
putting my foot down. That's something to say. I think we were just talking about it in general, like that maybe Skis just seems to be not quite at the level of some of the other medics here at this tournament. I think maybe that's sort of some of what we're seeing in this game as well.
Well, when you've got just pure talent on medic at LAN, it's hard to compete. It's hard to compete with those people. No. I mean, he's playing all right. I mean, it's a mixed team at the end of the day. Medic on a mixed team is just hard. Unless you've played for seasons and seasons together and it's just something you do on the regular, it's different because then it is a bit like a team and the vibes are there as well as having the cohesion of a good team. But a mixed team as medic, it's always going to be hard. Especially with how they're playing. I mean, they admit themselves, they're not slowing down. They're purposely playing aggro. They've gone around and said this, I think they've said every mid they're just doing one aggro thing just to see what happens. They call themselves like puzzle masterminds. They like breaking puzzles they were on about earlier or something like that. Fair play to them. So Skeezers might have a more difficult time because they're playing more adventurous. Again, the speculation, has it accumulated? We'll see on process.
How do you think that the Americans are going to have to adapt coming into this process game? This is a DM classic, I think, at least in my eyes, right? They love to run that bot mode sniper. Even when you were playing on this team as well, right, with Voxy, this is one of your preferred maps on process. You had that excellent play versus the Frenchies.
It was probably the Frenchies, yeah, we had a good game then. I think so, by the looks of it, because it was so close, and we mentioned coast to coast and last to last, I think you're going to have that safety net of a medic staying alive. This is obviously is a biased medic perspective talking. That's how I think. I think in a game like this, and the way they play, you need that safety net where you've always got that ability to have a 20 disad rather than a 60 or something like that. But yeah, what do you think, Sonny?
I'm going to need you to give the audience the final thoughts as well here, Sonny, as you give your opinions.
I think that White Lotus still have a chance, absolutely, to bring this back, even if this is obviously going to be DM's preferred map. So I think they have a good chance to bring this back if they lock in a little bit.
I'm gonna need you to give me a map score prediction here.
4-1 for Lotus.
Ooh, okay. What about you, Piggles? Final thoughts. Map score predictions. Who's gonna take this one?
It's gonna be a 3-1. It's gonna go to 2-1 Banny time and then 3-1 to I think the Americans.
You think we're going to go to a third map?
Bloody hope so they better, pull their finger out.
Here to take you through over to that potential third map, we've got the Meta, we've got Turbo Tabs ready on the microphones.
Thank you, Wandom. Thank you. God bless our troops. God bless America. And ladies and gentlemen, start your engines as we are going to be going to our second map. It is going to be CP Process Domato. This is the map pick for DM. Oh no.
Oh no, and if you had the cam or would have had that on us, you could have seen a red big United States flag already waving in the background, but you can just cue your own anthem as we are entering process here. The map pick of Dirty Maggots, White Lotus have to come back. This is the latest point in time here. Once you're knocked out of this, you're knocked out of the tournament. 1-0 lead on Granary by Dirty Maggots taking this, but Jordi already on the parachute on mid.
EU gimmicks. How dare they, Jordi? But he's going to be taking a lot more damage than usual every time he makes that initial jump up. But they start off with neutralizing high five and then just playing a simple blow up game. Jay, though, wants to enter the mix. Juxta with 30 HP, but no follow up. And Jordi air bombing them. Drone from the sky. How does it feel now, USA?
Yeah, now you know where not the clean maggots, they are the dirty maggots. They are still eating away at the opposition, but it is a very big statement play here. 100% against 100%. Jordi is creating the space on Process second already.
All right, KN causing for foray in the battlements. This is usually the best place to get a pick, in my opinion, over on the Process second. So they will back off, and Jordi, he's having a grand old time. He's just surfing for the love of the game.
He is farming the clips right now, and he is also having definitely some decent shouts in his comms to well up the ante here. Jordi again flying in is not eradicated.
Well, keep in mind, Jordi doesn't have the gunboat, so he needs all the heals. He needs a lot of heals from Juxta to show the health. The parachute going in, drone is turning into a tank, and well, he's a better drone than the tank.
Clapped down in the end. It's a one-man advantage here. Let's see what they can really brew up. High five comes close. We saw him before eating dirt in the mid, but he probably wants to reciprocate and respond in kind. Jay still on spawn, checking for off classes. Jordi in spawn, checking for off classes.
Well, Jordi's checking everything. Jay's furiously checking everything. Everyone, raise your butterfly knives as we must check what the hell is going on in the game.
It's now like 10 minutes. Hey, they have a spy. They have a spy. They also do have a spy. They still do have a spy.
They have a spy. Well, I'll check if they've got a spy. Have you got a spy?
They have a
spy. Get a sniper.
Get a sniper. Yes, they have opted for the sniper play. So bot mode comes close. They have the intel though on the White Lotus that a sharpshooter is creeping up slowly through the trenches, slowly through the muck. Can you hit the shot I wanted to say?
Well, it was definitely muck and shit in that shot, but hopefully he can kind of kite round to sewer. It's a much easier time to get a shot there. I'm surprised he went for choke, but I guess he was going for surprise factor.
Don't talk about Jordi coming in
very
without
nice
the
opportunity.
This is why you said kite, because you kited with the parachute, but he is not unlocking this unlock as so far.
I do like the thought process. They know roughly where they want to stand when they've got a sniper on bot mode to keep Ski safe, but that spot is very prone to just having a soldier come in. It's a very tight, close-knit quarters.
The headshot not hit on Logan, who went a bit forward since it was a pick here, but bot mode not hitting.
Just click the man! Click the man, bot mode! It's a very simple game!
But he's hopping around, he's hopping, weaving, diving, and basically has the smallest hitbox model in the entire game. Jordi has 2 deaths, but he has definitely been the man of the match so far. Bot mode not finding a follow-up, like sideline, not a follow-up shot as hectic, as dynamic as Granary was before. Process is disproving that.
Yeah, we're just waiting on bot mode here. 1 minute left, need I remind you. It's a very simple game. Think of it as an adventure game. There's only one puzzle though, use gun on man.
And Jordi jumps in the 3rd time. Bot mode though is cleaned off by the stickies by Logan. Very well set up. Jay tries to respond in kind, jumps toward a choke, but is not ultimately able to KN in the sky! They're not dealing with him, so much damage, but no follow-up damage from his own players.
Yep, they're going to get a lot of damage. They're just going to get crossbowed up. It's going to cancel whatever White Lotus were thinking about doing. And I think we're actually going to go for a round reset on second, rarely enough.
Would be the case, but it's still 100% Ubers on both of those sides, so they want to already trample forward. F has Uber popped onto him here. He's charging aggressively. Slamnish down in the IT area.
Well, they didn't have to use that Uber charge at all. When they use the Uber, usually you target the enemy Uber, but they didn't really go in and dealt with that. They just got the flank classes and hoped they could play off from there. Well, they've got no realistic cap time, so maybe there's no real risk in this play.
Skis save versus Uber for the next round, almost, and that's nice. That is what you do in a pregame or in a pub, you know, having friendlies, but it was not to be. Also, Jay could have maybe even followed this up, but it was basically Jordi suiciding 3 to 4 times. We had a period of Spice checking each other. It was a different game, it seemed, and then Sniper coming close, bot mode, though not hitting the shot, it stays 0-0.
That goes to show the quality of content that was happening in that first round. It was literally like, what are the replays? Jordi jumped in once. Cool!
That's fantastic. But now Jay already absolutely torn apart by players that have a wonderful symbiosis here.
Oh.
Jordi without the parachute.
Big dab dab.
Come close. Logan down to 70 HP. Ultimately flustered.
KN.
Popped out. K comes close. KN not fine.
It's now going, but it's a fake. Just allowing space. Jordi
And the parachute.
flying in the air, dying in the air.
Dying in the air in the field, and though maybe Chris wants to be forward here, 0 deaths on him, 3 frags, he wants to rack up on the kill tally. Slamdish already through IT, Jay ultimately though, Kyle, it seems as if we had a heat map, we're always on mid and second.
It is the J show, it seems, on White Lotus, but sadly this guy's getting cancelled. He's just not really being enabled or finding the picks that he's hoping for. They must have really done a masterclass on DM just to make sure like they know all of Jay's sort of plays he wants to make on the map-like
That is
process.
definitely important. Also, probably demo reviewing the map and the game before.
Nice damage.
KN, nice damage. Admin damage is allowing F to come
Nice
close
Uber.
here. Uber is popped significantly later, but F still chasing forward here. And F set on the second point. So much damage forward. It's still the health deficiencies, but
Oh, the cancelling.
they're cancelling. They did not have advantageous positions at all.
That's a shame, because I thought it was a really good Uber coming out from DM, but I guess when you just lose a couple of soldiers on the flank and you just do a head count, you're like, better safe than sorry. But I'm sure if they looked back at the health, I think they would have took that fight 4 versus 5.
Definitely playing it rather safe than sorry, since, I mean, 1-0 lead here in terms of total maps for Dirty Maggots. White Lotus have to pounce back. They are now, though, set in a rather passive situation. Jordi has 6 deaths. He has been in the most clips so far this week.
It's okay, though. Hopefully Jordi can make his way this time. I don't think he's got the parachute. He's just making space. But Jay will equalize on the flank. It's okay. It's a trade. It's allowed. But in this 5 versus 5 game, Jordi's going to have another crack at it. Just playing the spaces here over on Jordi, seeing if he can just find an easy pick, going back to the health pack instead.
It was KN.
And KN was the initial jump he wanted to go in, but finds nothing.
He came in so deep into the fight and was ultimately, though, not able to fire a decent enough ballistic shot onto Skis. It again only pacifies some flanks here. Zems wants to come forth. Logan, though, is a match for him, but it allows Jordi to come close. No, Jay plucks him apart.
Okay, so again, this is just a symptom of serious TF2. We have one pick happening for each team. It's just reset. You know, oh, there's a breeze in the air. Reset. It's like, oh, guys, I just have a bad feeling about this. Reset.
Guys, we are live on Twitch. People are looking at us. Jordi doesn't care if he is dying, but everyone else, like, just reset, you know, watch at the timer. And timer has already ticked down quite significantly.
Okay, so they're going for a play in sewer. I don't know what they're setting up for. I guess maybe they'll just do a slow push in, very Mandem style kind of push, where they just see if the scouts could just walk their way in and get a nice solo Uber.
They're also very much up front. I didn't see anyone, you know, flinging themselves behind. Jordi only had a fake panorama bomb. KN is still waiting for the calls, probably, yes. Also 1v1 here with a soldier. Jay does win, however. And now also the counter bombs are unleashed by High Five. It is coming close, though. Bot mode has his own security enabled. F also is being charged. There are 3 players down. They have to leave.
Yep, I guess a little bit overcalculating oversight. KN did go down there very early, so it made that push a bit more volatile. Obviously, White Lotus could throw in a bit more aggressive, because if they lose one player, it's not that big of a deal, and they know the flank is taken care of.
They had an 8-time stack, by the way, and that basically discouraged the forward spawns to come out. Those were late spawners, and it is still, though, players behind. A red player behind Slamdish here, and Juxta forces this ultimately. Juxta went down to 20
Logan,
HP.
though.
Logan still battles about, but probably not able, not even him, to win a 1v2. Skis pops Uber in sewer. Now, as well, a soldier flies forth, but not enough damage dealt.
Yeah, they must have got the Uber out of Skis as well during all of that chaos, but well done by DM picking up the pieces there. They're actually going to keep going to pick up pieces and then making their way to mid.
Jay is well, surfing out the damage that he inflicted upon himself, but also the damage of the enemy team. Now, though, they're engaging fresh and new into this fight. F tries to battle toward the high ground. Skis goes down to Sams, and that is a wonderful impetus for you. Was that a sticky trap?
I think that was a sticky trap, yes. Ugh. Well, they're stacking up, so they're not even giving the man the forward respawn, poor skis, so they have to go all the way back if they want to get some heals. They probably have to give up second point here. Logan can do the same, set up some sort of sticky trap, but it looks like we're on the crits, we're on the sentry gun, we're on full array of defensive weapons over at last.
Everything set up. Get your trenches and
mistimed.
This time Jay still in the forward spawn. Crit streak only up to 30%. So the 4 area is where we have a triumphant of success. A glowing one, blue in the colors, and an enthusiasm as well. Sam's down to 20 HP here. The heavy still quite lethal on top. Jay though is the only victim. They're still battling about this point. A high bomb from those soldiers. Logan and Slamnish also clean up bot mode.
Yeah, some of the cons of doing a good jump across the point on Zams. You basically detach from the beam for a half second. That heavy weapons go.
Absolutely done! Logan the man with a plan and a broad array of pipes.
I forgot what I was talking about. That was that was that good. Yeah.
Mind destroying, mind disrupting series of plays.
Okay, bot mode, trying to see if he can get a pick from the forward spawn against the medic, but he does go past the point of danger, so he's going to have to go back now. Oh no, not the spy check again.
Now they have the crits up here though, on skis. Jesus Christ, if they're able to nail this one out here. Chris is probably the main recipient. Logan now has
insta-pop coming out from Juxta. Fancy foot press work from that Frenchman, and well, you can see why it counts as the crits. No frags, no nothing.
Insane reflexes, by the way. So clinical, so succinct, but the same precinct they're still fighting over is the rock here. Slamnish's rock.
Oh,
Logan, though, once more, the Dominion, but KN unleashes Hellfire.
They've got no skis, though. No skis, and Logan's on 15 HP. He's basically dead.
He's basically not dead at all if he can just waddle out, limping almost. High five fighting here. Hello, there's a scout. One rocket missed, a secondary one hit, but no. The scout chariot has the partner locked out.
Corner goblins punished. Alright, so we're back at last for White Lotus. Again, another similar situation, but they've proven to us that they can hold this one and Uma Disad. So it's up to DM to make some adjustments. I think they just need to reel Zams in a little slower this time, and then maybe make sure that Jordy keeps his health as well throughout the push.
Most importantly, Slamnish stayed alive so much in the prior push we've seen, just rotating through Panic Room, but Sentry Gun only now down. F needs to use a pistol shot, but
again!
Slamnish peeks around the corner. Logan has stickies forward. Jordy is still flinging himself out of there. Bot mode also dies. 4 players not only fall in pursuit of happiness, but in trying to lock down the spawn.
Oh, what do you know? They have a short-term memory on White Lotus. They're like, I think they're going to make the exact same push as last time. So Logan prepared a nice little sticky trap just for Zams. How kind of him.
That is nice. They also have 2 back spawners on the side of the MK and also checking the spawn on Spy basically, and then re-switching onto Soldier. Let's send it forward here. A crit streak still in the hands of Juxta, also down! Jay comes close! It is the year of the Jaybird! He comes forth on his wings. Now KN also hides here. Can he hit one shot, but not enough?
I've seen this. I've seen these games before. I swear that somebody died just like this over on the side of White Lotus, but now they're clapping back. They've got the full Uber charge, and credit to the soldiers and everybody really keeping skis alive throughout that. Sadly, it's on the crits, but maybe they can make it work.
I mean, you do have skis, you do have crits,
crits?
You do have crits, but it doesn't really hit the heavy there. It was obscured by the architecture. Jordy, however, is absolutely slammed down into the ground. Slamnish cleans them up. Chris still, though, on the left side, limping out.
This is what I talk about. This is why crits feels like such a loser weapon. It just gets you trapped in this forever circle of just being on a unsuperior Uber charge, and the enemy, when it's telegraphed, they've actually got a backhand from Jay. They have 2 scouts coming back for him. Anti-air guns will clean him up, but that does cancel DM's efforts of pushing out.
Anti-aircraft, pew, 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 but like 80% of the last point already kept. and also it kept them in the game. Skis only trending towards 70% and Juxta already close to 100. Let's see if they have another theory crafting here added. You called out the vicious cycle before, but at least with Crit Streak you can fish, and it is difficult on Process, if you have all your players up alive, to push out.
Okay, so there's many ways to deal with the crits. You can either just all dogpile on the critzer immediately out the door. They're holding really close, so I assume this is the plan for DM. Otherwise, you could just banny bind your tits off here and just make sure that you can dodge him from the spawn. So we'll see if they can successfully dogpile Logan or any other follow-up critzer.
They're doing this so much rockets flung into a lobby. Chris is the ultimate recipient. You saw that Logan wanted to pry something open, wanted to see where he could exploit a venue, a trajectory for those sizzling cacophony crimson lightning balls into the last point, but it was ultimately not to be.
Well, Af is having a quick check to make sure they're not having any other off classes. He does call it right. Jay is on the sniper class. Sniper versus plus crits.
Let's see who that does a favor in the end, but Jay is already 185 damage, walking through 2-1, has his Slamnish Pocket Scout in kind to fend off any aggressor.
They should know about this sniper, and yeah, right on top of him, spamming him out, but they're seeing if they could use the sniper as bait and pick off the person that has to pressure the sniper.
Indeed, this is what they were trying for, especially with crits so close, with Chris so close, with crits so close as well, and Logan walking around. There is nothing though happening. Zems has everything locked up. The crit now comes forth! Doesn't hit though! Juxta hits Jordy!
Yeah, 3 square on the bingo card. Jordy holding the closest to the door. They actually pop off the Uber just to be really safe over on DM. So there is an avenue here for White Lotus, because you will build that crits just that much quicker than the Uber charge.
And Jay is slowly walking forward. We see KN on a 3k Slamnish down. This will hold anything though, but KN not even dying from that. Logan had to back out, couldn't commit anymore. Only 60 seconds to go.
Yeah, we're getting pretty scared over on DM. They're worried that this crits is going to be built pretty quickly. Jay still on the sniper class, so he's still going to be contributing throughout all of this. Think of this like a Gullywash boiling pan here. You're not scared of one strategy, you're scared of all the strategies.
From onto Logan, doesn't really find a favorable angle though. KN though shut down. Chris, how about crits instead? And now though, still creeping up around this. KN is a player that they still need 10 seconds more to respawn.
If you have oh no, that was very, very stressing there. Juxta's hiding in the corner, burying himself. Dig, Juxta, dig.
Heartbeat increases, almost dug his own grave for that matter.
Well, 18 seconds left. White Lotus, you might as well go for something if you're going to try and make this push up. But I guess they don't want to wipe and give them an avenue of going coast to coast here.
I mean, honestly, now you can literally just send it. You only have like 5 seconds. I mean, if you do claim the last camp time here. But no, it's an Uber here in the front, just cleaning up players. The kill tally is heightened. But wow, we've already surpassed 20 minutes almost, and still, you know what? 0-0.
Are you seeing the trend here throughout all this match, Domato? Not just the lovely little air shots and the lovely little shots, but the fact that they can't break DM's last holds. DM's last holds seem to be ironclad, and White Lotus just don't have the recipe book for dismantling them. And fortunately, they haven't got a round on the board yet for Dirty Maggots, but if you gotta start winning rounds by claiming last.
To be quite fair though, the equilibrium was also on hand, since Dirty Maggots not able to push the last point of White Lotus. So let's see, Chris already on the top, but Jordy still on the parachute.
Yep, just claiming a little mini health pack, and then he's going to have another little jump in the air just to pressuring out. High Five sees that as the good time to kind of fake and maybe buy space for Jay to get in. Brought down so low, the weakness found in Logan. They'll pick off the main demo man, and now this is what an air shot though!
What a headshot as well! The Jordy show comes close to the ultimate eruption, but back onto last it goes.
Well, fortunately, Skis are still alive, but unfortunately, they're back at last. So they're going to have to get all their defenses back up. And DM seems to be so much better, at least attempting these last pushes.
Them so much damage already plugged toward like defending players. Jordi now leaps in, but a double scout. Anti-air grab, pew pew pew! But Logan ultimately though has stickies forward. Though Zem's shot down by Chris. That is the entranceway. You can pressure into second, obviously claim that, but Juxta's so far out.
Okay, so I'm not sure what the plan is from DM there. I guess maybe just save your friend syndrome, or just like, he's so low, and then everyone has to just keep jumping in. But yes, they give up the second point. They're making their way into mid now, but the soldiers are back to the world of living. There's a bit of weakness with Jay showing himself, but for a mere moment, high five will get picked off as well. Very nice sort of focus fire coming out from White Lotus and DM as well. And oh, it's just even Stevens. Jordy's just going to go directly behind and just give him another thing to think about. Or is he just basically dead to his team because he's not really contributing to this fight right now?
F on a 5k, and Juxta not popping at all, trusting into the mechanics of
Jordy, he's back!
Body block though! Jordy resuscitated from the dead, but straight sent back into the respawn.
This is what happens when you have a long-time flanker. You're basically fighting this fight 4 versus 5, and you really bank on that this huge flank is going to do something. And when it just comes up like that, it's just wasted all this time and wasted all this point.
Honestly, I did like it. He was just too far out, I would have guessed. But now Logan also tries to find entrance door damage. Jay from IT firing upwards though, so we all know it. It is Jay falling down, and high ground is an advantage.
Yes, the second point owner usually has the onus on that PC room flank. Automatic high ground, rules king.
Well, that is what you have also seen on different franchises here, but maybe another happy landing, what we're strapping in for here. KN in the spawn, checking for offness. We have again KN and Jay, both on Spy.
Yep.
Spy!
It goes to show how careful these things are in the semi-finals of this lower bracket. We don't want to lose anything to chance here. All has to be incredibly cold and calculated. But at some point, both of these players need to switch off these glasses so they can go somewhere. Look, Jay noticed that he's not playing Spy anymore. So he actually switches off the sniper to maybe bait this this scout at the Spy check. But realizes there is no more Spy anymore. I can actually successfully go sniper.
Finally comes out on a sniper, but maybe some explosives are up on the horizon here. It is very important for White Lotus. They are staring down the second point of Dirty Maggots. Dirty Maggots though have set themselves up for great success. Do they open the shutter? Juxta now on the high ground behind the wall! Not hitting the shot.
Yeah, okay, the first shot is usually the most important one. Sadly, didn't work it out. We'll get a body shot onto Zams. That's annoying, but Jordy gets picked off. That's going to allow more room. They have to, believe it or not, hold closer over on DM to not allow breathing room for this sniper.
Exactly what they are doing, reassuming a new position, but it is now Jay establishing a forward foothold. The sniper rifle!
The body shot!
Still in hand, quite lethal, already walking forward here, talking through how do we take any progressive situation with the demo man being down, but Kane leaps in behind! He doesn't find the follow-up rocket soon enough. A pop, it's a much longer glow here for Chris, who is chasing out the remaining players. They all have to hurry, scurry out of...
Where the hell is my soldier? High five. The very nice juicy bomb that could have been had there, but fortunately Jay picking up the slack as he will get the pick onto these players and kind of secure the second point for his team.
Picks up more even of a snack here, and Logan wants to also trial what the death match capabilities on Zams are. Also Jay still running around bot mode, and Jordy now spawning, but still in the front, like in the backlines. They don't even have a defensive setup up yet.
Yes, they're poking already with the sniper. 1 minute
five!
left, and he goes for the jump. Nice from Juxta there, making it difficult for high five, but no follow-up. Jay will go down, but I'm sure he's happy to get off the sniper class. They lose Logan. That's not the plan, though, so expect the second point to be given up here.
F is on an 8k. Do I need to spell that out for you? 8k, 13-2-2 we saw before, 7.0 KD. This man has done so much for his team, locking them out. 0-0 scoreline, 1 minute until progressive overtime rule kicks in.
Poor Jay, I'm back on the sniper class. I want to leave this class, but they seem to always have these opportunities where they have to break Poor DM stalemate. And it's not fun TF2 for them. They're usually liking the more chaos. They like their soldiers to roam free instead of shackled onto the sniper.
I mean, if they do win this, who cares, honestly? As long as you win, but Jay not hitting the initial shot, maybe something else can brew up here. They are hiding behind! Juxta is tempting his luck, going behind the little pillar here. The players come close. It's a lot of splash damage, rockets, a lot of splash damage thrown into sewer.
The soldiers have closed the line. Oh my god, Juxta playing very, very, very fast and loose, but they're trusting his teammates to hold the door and spam the door and prevent that airway coming out for the sniper.
Juxta, do you not care about our heartbeat? Like, he has the moves, he has the wiggles, he is putting on those dancing shoes, but eventually not able to be apprehended and culled. Jordi fires aggressive rockets forward, 5-18 on him, not a soldier show in any kind. Also, Zems, a lot of stickies forward.
Jay, he's getting literally shot a bit. And he finds the snipe against Juxta. He was being pushed, pummeled, and even directly hit by these rockets, but did not unzoom, did not move, and held patient and found his frag.
If you tempt your luck so much, ultimately you will suffer. It heralds the age of the Jaybird, etymologically speaking, putting the victory, a future one, on his eagle wings. As now they're talking through their push, we have an 80% Uber advantage. We have struggled a lot with cracking this one down, but it starts already with Logan having Uber popped onto him here. Sentry gun down very fast, very adeptly played as well. Juxta not able to leave out.
Heals.
They have heals advantage. Skis did go down though.
There's no damage classes though. There's nobody really to fight here. Believe it or not, I think the worst target Logan could have picked there was the medic. Juxta wasn't going to get any Uber charge. He was not really getting the buffs out on onto his teammates. It's just a poor target prioritization.
Jay is still hiding in plain sight. They have not spotted him yet. He was so forward. Oh, almost point blank headshot. This was what I was strapping in for. F runs frantically. 15-2 KD on the back lines. High five on
KN's
Spy.
checking classes, so KN should know that high five is on the Spy class, but he might assume that he's just checking for classes when really he actually is playing Spy right now.
High five uncloaking now on top here, walking around, not really showing his own view model just yet.
Yep, he's
five.
waiting. He sees the back. Assassin's
High
Creed!
five. Down
Assassin's
low.
Creed!
No! Yes! He nails it! And he doesn't leave them hanging. He went for the high
Uber
five.
goes straight in.
The Uber comes in. Zems have any healing beam attached to him. Chris already a lot of counter.
Oh my god, they're holding it! They're actually holding it on DM! They've dug deep! The scouts do not need an Uber! They do not need a heal! They do not need an Uber charge!
We need a hero, and that hero in Team Fortress 2 is still the team. And Atto wiped. Absolute demolition. However, Ski spawning only 15% Uber disadvantage. Juxta didn't heal a player for quite a long time.
Morale must be broken on White Lotus. At this point, what do you need to happen? The medic went down. They were in incredibly aggressive positions in DM. The Uber immediately followed up. I don't know what else you can put down for White Lotus to make these go.
Jay! With a close range headshot! KN though puts him into the dumpster. The little air shot. They are definitely distraught after that play. That is going to take a taxing toll onto your own mental state here. You now are back onto your own last. A convalescent measure though. Dirty Maggots also struggled with pushing last. KN does the back.
Fortunately, you can't edge bug your way into last, so hopefully this is just a little kind of playful nature from KN. Obviously, they're feeling good, but need I remind everybody, these last pushes from DM have been awful. They've been really, really bad, so let's hopefully they can adjust here. White Lotus are certainly adjusting. KN go for the speed shot, not finding anybody though.
He's
It's
in for
actually-
so long!
Oh, shot coming out of KN!
See you in the frag movie, buddy! KN comes close here. No sentry gun setup. That definitely did leverage their game quite significantly, and they are conjoined in the efforts of the absolute highlight reel here, also of the conversion rates not being up to par.
Yep, they've spammed down the sentry gun as well. So pick a door, any door, it's free, it's allowed. And Geordie picks one, but this is not the door he was looking for. He will go down, and they're
Losing
just
more
trying
players.
a bit more. Af is going down.
Zams
Zams
as
as well. We have to take the bot mode taxi out. 5 stars.
Perfect. I can even give you a tip after all of that, and the tip is both teams still struggle with nailing those last pushes. Logan was absolutely clapped into the ground. Sentry gun not set up, but now 100% here that are coming to the IT area from the red side. They're already claiming their dominion on the midpoint. Yes, so much damage flung upon Juxta.
And the instant response coming up from Skis as well. I'm not entirely sure who has the better Uber. Geordie being saved with a flash, but is so scrappy and messy. They're all taking the outskirts on DM, but they're holding the blob over on the White Lotus. They're actually finding their frags a bit better. Thank goodness Geordie's finding some kills, but Zams has left his team pissing in the wind. He's going to get back out. He wants to save Juxta. He wants to just keep this war alive and just give up the battle.
Zams can protect his players.
Another pipe.
Another pipe. Jay blows himself up
Another
there
arrow.
on the environment. They are working together as a tandem, but White Lotus coasting it how many times already? But DM
They're going
not
back in.
want to relent.
Yeah, back into the fray once more, dear friend. KN wants to get some laid out damage so they can start making their press onto second, but the back cap could happen at any moment during all this chaos.
So
Zams is brought down so low, not crossbowable right now, and well, oh god, they're still bleeding a few players. So much health lost. Jay does go down, and that's a big sigh of relief for DM. No back cap to worry about. They just need to focus on making the push out.
Jay tried to his hands there on the back cap, but Skis is still staying in, not forced yet. Down to 30 HP. They pop it. They are staying in for so long.
They're fighting nothing.
They are fighting still. Chris has now a re-flash, but they have to leave.
Oh, what a team of Uber. That's not going to be good enough for poor White Lotus. They've got 100% Uber charge now, and all of their players up from DM. They have practiced this a million times, and they just need to play off their practice.
Usually we do tantamountedly acclaimed.
Juxta!
Taking a shot. Juxta keeps alive. The
13.
serves come out. The tide is high. He's holding on.
Okay, well, that was very clutch by the Frenchman, had me sweating, but White Lotus, they're still not out of this just yet. Skis back to the world of living, and that has delayed a lot of time for White Lotus to get their Uber charge back.
Absolute incredible cinema plays. KN can't hit the air shot because there is a roof wall on top of him. Now though, it is a jump though from Geordie into one. Doesn't find enough damage though. Logan responds in kind. A double K, but KN is also ripped to pieces. 3 players down here for Dirty Maggots.
Yes, the flanks on flanks on flanks, as we will claim back DM just from all the back alley shenanigans, while the combos were busy just giving each other the leer.
With the most aggressive grandeur, I think White Lotus is still in this game. They are not relenting, taking any team fight that they can see. They lost 1 or 2 players with European teams you're used to playing against. They back out, they respect it. Bot mode though is a real player to once more be respected.
Yeah, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas as bot mode has brought out his festive guns over on the sniper class, and hopefully he can bail out his team. In clutch situations, this man seems a bit more enabled on sniper, so I'm interested to see how he puts out. I don't see anybody, no one's showing their face, and they know where he's there right now, so it's going to get harder for bot mode, believe it or not.
Fundamentally, he is already though having a lot of ground gain for his team. It is Skis not tempting his luck as much as Juxta was in the prior scenario we've seen, just inversely swapped. Bot mode does back out.
All right, rotating around like any good sniper will, keep them guessing and keep the paranoia on White Lotus, but 2 minutes and 20 seconds before a round reset, and sometimes you can get caught in these situations where you really want a combat class, but bot mode is stuck on this sniper, so they need to play very, very solid TF2 from DM to make sure they just don't snowball.
Nimble enough though to hit the headshot, and Zams follows up with the sticky onto Jay. High Five has decent rockets though to cull the action. Bot mode down. High Five still surfing around. Geordie down to 50 HP. They cannot progress this time and this fight for any longer, since a decent amount of rocket ricochets were unleashed. Zams forcing this Uber a lot of entrance door damage.
Yeah, just both teams exchanging Ubers out, giving each other the leer again, and where is the post fight? Not really happening. It's down to time for a post nap.
Principally, though, Jordy is up atop.
Jordy's got him. Oh, I thought he managed to get out.
He got
there,
himself a bunch of friends. Jay and Slemnish, they take that 1v1. And
Jay finds a pick. He's allowed to get aggressive here now because obviously with Jordy down, if he dies, it's not that big of a deal. But he finds the follow-up pick there they were looking for, and it was a kill on Zams as well. So it's a very easy to enter these doorways really quickly.
They recycled their position so well, and you know what? 8 times cap once more in the mid. That means Zams late spawner, or basically back spawner for that matter. Logan is already trampling, but Skis goes down to KN!
Go down?
That was absolutely cinema there, coming in clutch when they do not predict it. However, the red fighting force still in forward positions, ultimately backing out.
Yeah, I'm amazed, I'm shocked, and I'm so confused, and I'm gonna be waiting on this map for just that little bit longer.
It is this rule set, but it does keep delivering. I mean, on any other rule set, it would be the same because it's a 0-0 and no team has claimed the primacy of the points so far. But Jay wants to claim the primacy of the insta-kill mechanics for himself. Juxta is still walking about a little bit. Are they aware of the Jay sniper? Now they are.
Okay, so they throw in a soldier. Jordy sacrifices his life for the living, and hopefully the living can find
Skis is so weak!
Solo in the corner. He goes into sewer. Nobody there to kind of chase him through sewer, however. They all committed into choke, and now they want to use their man advantage to kind of push out the remaining of DM, despite not even having an uber charge. They get the pick onto bot mode, so that's another avenue that can keep going with this onto second point.
Really good positioning by the White Lotus. The soldier then also able to disintegrate bot mode.
Sams!
Again comes Go. Sams is immediately dealt with. Skis has an uber advantage.
This is bad.
They are parading forward here.
This is bad.
The gallop is increasing. Switch that from a trot to a mere counter. Coming close here, Ubering through the 2 aerial damage pipes.
Juxta
Already delivered. Can they find
4 times cap?
They need Captain here, but they're finding the trap. They're finding the myth. They're finding this.
They got the uber charge! Juxta got the uber charge! He's managing to block the point that little bit longer, but 7 seconds until the next person. They need to get...
It does it! White Lotus! Come back! Strong on process! 1-1 in terms of maps! 1-0 on process. It was a long, grueling attempt, but if it is any team that deserves that after this performance, it's the Americans.
We're free. We're free. We're free from the progressive nature of the rule set, or at least for this map. So yeah, we were trapped a little bit. It was very intense. Obviously, we were struggling with last pushes, but I think if we just bleed enough people on second, who needs the last push?
Indeed, but we've seen both of them screwing up their last pushes quite significantly. We have a wonderful array once more on the couch, and let's hear what they have to say.
You know, that was a 0-0 game on process for so long, but my God, Sonny, do I feel like I got my money's worth?
Yeah, I mean, so much back and forth. So many coast-to-coast last push attempts that don't stick. Lotus, 2 failed Uber, like full Uber advantage pushes into last. Like incredible holds coming out of DM as well. Jay spending like half the map on Sniper, putting up an insane stat line on Roamer, mind you, like fragging out. It's just an active map all over the place. And finally they make it stick, get that final round on the board, actually take the map, take us to a third map as well, keep their chances alive, and make sure that DM doesn't get the privilege of getting rolled by Witness so that Lotus can do it instead. Maybe.
Dumul, you're watching that game as well. Is there any sort of key takeaways from that process game from you?
I've seen a lot of good things individually for the Dolly Magus. I won't lie about it. Juxta, I think, had a phenomenal game, in my opinion. The Americans, good to see that they brought it back. Would be a shame if they lose to the third best team in Europe, honestly. Logan, impressed simply. But Zams didn't shy away. So it's for me it's evenly matched between these two. Bomber was a bit quiet in my opinion. He didn't snipe that much, no spy at all. It's a bit surprising from him.
Yeah, he was trying a bit on the sniper, but unable to quite find those shots that he really wanted to. On the other hand, though, Jay came up on that sniper and had so much impact on these games. Sonny, You're on this White Lotus team with multiple medic drops from heroics out of multiple players on your team, and just barely not quite able to cross that finish line until the very end. How do you think that you sort of stay in that to come all the way through?
You gotta like reset the mental somehow, right? You gotta be like, okay, we screwed that one up somehow. We really shouldn't have. But if you can reset yourself, recenter yourself quickly enough and still stay in there, I think that's what makes the difference between a good team and a great team, right? If you can actually come out of that and be like, okay, we screwed that one up, this is how we're gonna have to try it differently. That's for instance what we saw with Mandem in the ETF2L playoffs. They couldn't recenter themselves after the mistakes, and that's what led to the death spiral, right? And I think if Lotus can do that recentering, they all are very experienced, these players. So I think they're totally going to be capable of that. They're going to be headed into Gullywash completely refreshed, and maybe even using this momentum, have a chance of taking it outright.
You mentioned already, Demore, there's a couple of players, there's some really bright spots for the Dirty Maggots despite the map loss. What are they looking to continue into this next series to keep it interesting and to take that win on Gullywash?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about this map pick. I don't know how the Americans, if the Americans are any good on it. I think they banned it most of the time, and I don't think it's a good map for Dirty Maggots, so I have no idea what to expect from it.
And what do you think for the Americans here, Cerny? They've now gotten this first map victory. They're still in this series. They've got the third map. Gullywash is a map that I would expect to play really into the strengths of this American team. They love these pushes. They have DM classes right now firing on all cylinders as well. Do you think they can keep up the momentum coming into Gullywash?
Jay loves the paint train, and Gullywash is a map traditionally where the paint train can make some differences. You can easily slip onto that point, catch somebody off guard. Maybe, one rocket to get the soldier off the rim, he's suddenly out of there. You get a lot of cap time. We might see shenanigans like that. That alone, a sneaky little round like that away from DM already puts him on the back foot. Now, obviously, DM, diamond mental. They're probably not going to crack under that alone. But I think they're going to have a lot of opportunities with the DM following as well for Lotus. They have a good chance. I think they have a very good chance of taking this.
I think it's going to be really interesting. I know both teams are now going to be outside taking a little bit of a break to move. What do you think they're going to be talking about on the Maggot side here to try and set themselves up for a Gullywash game?
Honestly, if Jody can wait a bit, or if Kane can follow up instantly, that would be marvelous. I feel like this is one of the things between these two soldiers which is weird. Like you need some kind of good synergy, and I've never seen that from these two, in my opinion. Like I'm still surprised they play together. Let's be honest. In terms of last, Gullywash is the hardest last to hold. The pressure onto the point from water is extremely hard to handle. Yes, I don't think Paint Train is a shenanigan. Paint Train is literally the meta. Every roamer plays Paint Train, or whoever the soldier is that goes water. You need a Paint Train. It's too good to not take it.
What about you, Sony? What are you telling the Americans outside right now, breathing in the sun, taking in the sun, breathing in air?
It is beautiful. It is a beautiful day outside still. Yeah, it's been all weekend.
I've been in
not
this
a cloud.
basement for like 4 days. I don't really know. Like, is it nice outside? Is it nice outside?
There haven't been any clouds since we arrived here in Butch. I think that's a pretty good sign.
The Americans are outside tasting freedom.
Yes, for the first time in
more
days.
ways than one, I assume. What do you think that they're talking about, sort of setting themselves up for this final match?
I think they know that even though DM have been playing a lot more aggressively or actively, especially they did on Granary as well, right? But I think they know that DM will still try to have this, especially as they did more so on Process, this last hold playstyle. And as the Moore said, Gully is a tough map to do that on. You're not going to have an easy time holding forever, resetting. You're really going to have to be on top of those last holds, and especially with the pressure from water, Zams is going to be spread very thin in his attention. Like either he's sitting all the way back there and just gets overwhelmed immediately by like a J Slemnish flank just destroying him, or he's playing outside and then suddenly the soldier bomb comes through. Like there's so many ways that he's going to be overwhelmed. He's been stepping up, mind you. He's been having good performances, but if he's still going to be outclassed by Logan and like playing a little worse than Logan and then get overwhelmed by that, I think that could really break DM when they try to go for these last holds.
I think something that stands out to me a little bit is that DM are playing such a different style compared to what we're used to seeing Demore. Do you think that might ultimately end up biting them a little bit? Like this is such a new switch up for them. It's a completely different style of team compared to the way that they normally play. Do you think that's ultimately going to haunt them in this last game, or do you think that they can sort of really step into it?
You're making a good point, actually. Like, Gully is a very punishing map. As soon as you win the mid, you can literally roll on last as long as the medic is dead. And it's pretty easy to push on last. The last is pretty small. It's a pretty closed area as well. So it leaves way less room for the soldiers to defend the point. Like, usually on this last, you have a soldier, the roamer and the demo playing water. And depends on the strategy of the other teams. Some people like to send people water to contest that. Some people just want to get the positioning onto the last and try to block the other 4 players from reaching out of the spawn. So far, I think DM played pretty well against that aggressive style of the Americans, but the Americans kind of play like a mix. And honestly, just keep the J sniper. Like, you don't have any plan, just go sniper.
Do you think we're going to continue to see the sniper streak coming out here? Both J and bot mode have been playing it. Gullywash is not the worst map in the world for sniper either. You got some crazy angles on that map.
Especially on last.
Yeah.
I'm fully ready for the J hero shot out of River. You know damn well he wants to do that as well if he gets the opportunity. But even just balcony, you get a lot of angles that you can really play on that last. Maybe a little bit of stuff if you're like on a second to mid stalemate as well, if you can get big door going somehow, right? So I'm certainly ready to see some of that. Maybe Slemnish pick up the rifle as well. Jay's been doing all the off-classing, but Slemnish is a force on that sniper as well. That's the crazy thing about the Americans, right? That you have like one really solid sniper on DM with Bomo. Obviously, Af can snipe, but most of the time you're just gonna let Bomo do it. But on the American team, you have Slemnish, you have Jay. Those two alone are already extremely good. And then probably some other, like, I think High Five is still technically a capable sniper as well. If Chris really wanted to, I'm sure he could do it as well. So they have a lot of flexibility with that as well, that they can like, well, if one guy can't do it, maybe the other guy can, you know?
Well, High Five is traditionally a soldier player. How are you, or a scout player rather? How are you finding his soldier gameplay so far in these games? Do you think he's living up to it?
I think he's okay. I don't know. Like, I didn't see much from him. Didn't see particularly good phases from him. But I think he's way better than Jordi. That's for sure. Like, simple. But you talk about Slem and J, but it's the same for on the side of a DM. There's Kian that can snipe as well. So, but I prefer bot mode at sniper. Like, Kian is more traditional. He's a bit more predictable in the way he plays compared to bot mode, which he tries to pick every angle possible. He has really good timings as well compared to Kian, which is a bit predictable compared to bot mode.
Sunny, I'm going to bring down the energy ever so slightly because we still have a little bit of time. Players are still sort of joining back in the server. I need you to give me some kind of crazy prediction from what happens, because obviously this is the lower bracket semi-final game. After that's going to be the lower bracket finals into an actual grand final. I need you right now. TurboTab's over there. He's the man with the script. TurboTaz has the script for the whole tournament written down. I need you to look him in the eyes, and I need you to, from that, divine exactly what's going to happen the rest of this tournament.
I think
so. We're gonna We're gonna get TurboTabs. He's
gonna give us a clue. He's writing something down. He's gonna give us a little clue as to what.
We're gonna get a sign from God, effectively.
Okay, what's the plan here?
He's written stuff down on a napkin.
Hello, Turbo. Hello.
I need you to tell me what did he write on this napkin? What's on this napkin?
I think he's shown us one of two paths. The first path is that if DM continued like the way they've been playing actively, and it doesn't bite them, they might win and challenge Witness and not get 5-0'd 5-0'd. That's the first path, because it would be funny to see DM in the finals against Mandem. That's a good script. The second path is the one that's probably far more realistic. It's not like a 50-50, right? This one's probably far more realistic, is that White Lotus have now woken up. They have wisened up to how DM are playing. They're going to find a way to counterplay it, and they're going to take this into the lower bracket final against Witness. And I believe that is the one he chose.
divine revelations have been revealed to me. I'll keep this in my pocket for a little bit. Actually, no. Okay. Actually, yeah. I think Turbo makes a really good point. Do you think if I show this on stream, they'll be able to see what it says?
Probably. Give it a try. Give it a try.
Yeah. No. This is
4-2. 4-2.
interpret Demul. What does that mean?
4-2 who?
What?
I agree.
Yeah. Good. All right. I actually think we probably could talk a little bit about some final little map predictions here. Maybe not final thoughts, but I think Demul, you're looking to break down this Gullywash game. What players are we really looking for to step up on this Gullywash map?
It's a really, really good map for Demo Man. So I think we're still gonna see a good show from both Logan and Zems. I don't think Logan is outclassing Zems at all. I think they are pretty evenly matched. It's a good solo map as well. It's not a really good map for scouts, especially flank scout. It's pretty rough. So I don't think we're gonna see much from Slam or bot mode. Bot mode has been quiet on the map flag process. I don't think we're gonna see much from him. Kian, as far as I know, doesn't really like the map, which is pretty weird. I think it's gonna be a J show. I think it's just gonna be the J show. And what was I gonna say? I don't remember.
All right. What about you, Sonny? Give me a couple players to watch, maybe one for either side. Who are your eyes on?
So, for one, Jordy's probably going to go like 10 and 38 again.
Uh-huh.
But he has been practicing the funny base jumper rollout. And it works really well on Gully. You can do it.
You're so fast.
You can do it extremely
quickly. You're also 40
quickly.
HP.
But what if you're Logan and you don't expect a soldier to be standing in choke when you arrive? So what I'm saying is he's probably going to try it at least a couple times. I mean, he was running base jumper to mid on process a couple of times. So he might try it every once in a while, and if he pulls it off, it's a clip. If he doesn't, then it's a waste of time, obviously. But like, yeah, I feel like Jordy can definitely sow some chaos with that. Do some shenanigans here. I think also Af has just been playing solidly. Even though it's not a scout map, I think he's going to have another really solid game. Af has been a player that I've always undervalued a bit. Obviously, he's been at the top of like Prem for quite a while now, but he's been quiet a lot of seasons. And we had Piggles on the couch earlier saying when he was still playing with his team, this is not the same Af that he was playing with. He's somehow changed as a player to the extent that he's now putting down monstrous scorelines almost every single map he plays. And I think he's going to continue that. He's going to be solid again, just a pure anchor for that combo. And I think that's going to help DM a lot here as well.
All right. I'm still not told final thoughts, so now I have to rack my brain for something funny we can say for just a little while. Okay, never mind. Final thoughts. Yay! I'm saved. All right, Demul, final thoughts. Anything final you want to say? Map score prediction, please. And also team winner.
So it's gonna be 3-1 for Dirty Maggots, but I hope that the Americans will win because Dirty Maggots is gonna get destroyed by Witness. So go Americans.
What about you, Sonny? Who's going to win this?
I believe that there is a chance Dirty Maggots take this, definitely. Depending on the playstyle, just as the Demul says, 31 is pretty reasonable. But I also believe that it's more likely that Lotus are now going to activate. They're going to realize how to play against this. DM might fall back into their old strategies a bit, and this is going to be grueling, slow, like a 2-1 towards Lotus, I think. That's the outcome.
All right, well, to help decipher the divine messages that we were given earlier and perhaps take us through to the end of this game, all-powerful, all-knowing, script-knower Turbo Tabs, and also Tomato.
We are heading into Gullywash, and we've learned so much. Not only do you take something for your throat and water to a LAN, you also sometimes need heart meds. I hope this game does keep on delivering. The Americans coming so clutch in the second map. It was a 0-0 scoreline for the longest time. They were locked onto the last point of Dirty Maggots for an extended period of time. But wow, Turbo Taps, what a game it has been so far.
Yeah, I feel a bit vindicated in that I thought like Granary wasn't a good pick for the Americans. I think this team is really good as like team fighting, flowing, going in and out, having little areas where they're like, oh, I'm in sewer, now I'm not, now I'm back in sewer. But you don't really get that on Granary so much. It's such a long map and fragmented. So, but when they picked Process over on the side of Dirty Maggots, I thought, wow, they basically just bailed out the Americans for them. And yeah, it was a bit touch and go for a little bit. I wonder if they were going to pull this off. So the logic of that kind of tells me that, you know, if I think it leans towards the Americans and they still had to really fight for it, this should be leaning towards the Dirty Maggots. But truly, like the napkin says of divine intervention, I don't know. I think it could go either way, but I could probably say that this game's going to go quickly.
What backs this up, though, as maybe even a quarterback, is Logan. We were talking, and even the couch said this before. Is he top-notch? Is he up to par? But most importantly, can Samus replicate what Logan has been doing? Logan, insane deathmatch, insane reading of the flow of the game. High five as well, impressed me very much. But now 25 minutes are set on to the round timer. Gullywash is the deciding map in this lower bracket semifinal. Whoever loses this is out of this competition in poLANd 2026. Dirty Maggots in the blue, White Lotus in the red.
North America versus EU, and already we're starting off things pretty cool.
Parachute
calm
again!
And collected and parachuting. EU gimmicks. We're just sticking to
High five!
on the map until High Five and Jay cut across the point. Kate taking out Juxta, and now they just need to keep care of Skis.
Slemnish and Logan can protect Skis. Jordi so close here to the corner, but not really unleashing hell. Only one rocket or two. Well, two players. Also, no one else snacking behind their lines. They lost two players themselves here on the blue team. Also, though, them forcing Skis so early.
Yeah, this was like a proactive pop. I think they wanted to just make sure that no scouts would drop during the Uber, so they kind of popped straight away. Kind of wasted if they did get these couple of kills there. But I mean, now the Ubers are even. I'm sure DM are happy with this.
He waited for an aiding bolt for like 5 seconds. The players also blocked the bolts from Juxta, so nothing to be gained. KN hiding in a forward spawn. Logan is aware, I think.
Yeah, he's opened the door a few times, just teasing them, but he's going to rotate back now, and time for a last defense. Our first last defense of the game, and kind of see where DM are going to stand on this. They've been standing on the shoulders of their good last holds, so whether or not there's holds for Gullywash is very important.
A proportionate dosage of destruction comes forth, but ultimately the Pyro can reflect it all and bot mode, at least holding last down for his team.
Yeah, it was nice foresight for AF to realize that they were going to throw somebody in sooner rather than later, so that rather than building a sentry gun and just having it be useless, just go on heavy weapons guy for a little bit.
Decent shot out here, but everyone always in this game seems to be in desperate need of mortality. Chris has prior pistol shots fired. He is munching onto that rockets. Yum yum, but nothing really happening.
Yeah, all eyes on Jay. He's usually the one to break these sort of stalemates, or at least attempt to, and then come off onto an R-class that after the plan A did not work out.
Solely relying on splash damage to open that up, also pistol shots to defuse the stickies in any manner that were plastered in the river area, but on the confluence of those compartments meeting here, it is High Five opening the shutter, nothing is found, a reflect comes out.
Yeah, they're trying to spam down the sentry gun. They realize, oh, they're actually playing the point, so more of a boiling pot right now for White Lotus. They realize they can get so much cap time, they actually get a pinky toe on there for but a moment, and caps like that are going to send DM very stressing.
Any other medic in that situation would have also been forced. Juxta adept enough with the moves. Logan finishes off Jordi. Not usually what you expect. A scout on the point. Okay, we fought him off. Oh, well, another scout on the point. They still have a lot of cap time.
It's going to be a bit worrying for DM, because usually you like to spend someone to kind of look with the spy class, a little class check, see if they're doing any off-classing, but that's one less body on the board, one less person you can throw onto the point against all of these players, and they throw one scouting towards it. They should know about this over on DM.
Logan is peering through the window, but all of the other players are not that opaque after all. No, Slemnish is called out. They might even lose a soldier here in water. How eponymous, being flamed down by an engulfing flame ball, but it loses 3 players. It is notorious. It is Gullywash last. We are not pushing it.
No pushing for DM, I guess. semi-final kind of showing its face there, where they want to just play very certain, very safe. And with Skis still holding on to that Uber, that's just not good enough for DM.
Not yet. Logan again peering through the window. You see where they are positioned. Also relying and relaying the comms. It is, though, a 1v1. Hello, come at me. Why is this window blocking me? But Chris already, again on the last point. No one spots it. Now KN comes up to the rim.
Yep, Chris again just poking them, putting pressure, drawing resources away from other places on the map for Dirty Maggots. And Logan seeing if he can spam down that oh, there is no sentry gun. Half is on the heavy.
Decent angle to, though, exploit a bit, but High Five exponentially expedites his own expedition into the respawn queue. 10-second spawn timer still on him, and 60 seconds on the clock.
Alright, let's see. We have 50 seconds, you're right. So you should realistically just go for the Uber push in. They can't really punish you. They're probably going to go to a round reset anyways. You can extend the time a bit by getting some cap time, so don't be too pressured if you have just only 10 seconds left on the clock.
High Five with the snack in front of his head. So this is maybe a gimmick strat. I mean, he can come into the post fight and he has a lot of health, so let's send it to a river right now. Ebbing, flowing, but Juxta not popping until at least 50% were wrapped up the red medigun.
Yeah, they force out the Uber charge, but
Zemnish!
yeah, he actually draws a lot of attention away. He's
Zemnish!
actually killed the soldier on point, but thankfully KN is also on the point, expecting the triple attempt at the point's life, and
Heavy
High
versus Heavy!
Five, he was just but a distraction.
Heavy is still alive. High Five finally, the ultimate infernal victim. The taunt comes out. White Lotus, you get the L, even though you're abbreviated to WL, so we keep the W for ourselves here. Stalemate, everyone loses. Back to mid we go.
Okay, so this again must be reassuring for DM to realize, okay, we've still got our last point chops here on this Gullywash. So, and White Lotus have been struggling this. Now, if they can capitalize on not making the mistakes they did on the previous map, which is dying at second and having no last point defense at all, I think DM might be okay here.
It was quite similar to the previous map we've seen on Process, where Dirty Maggots definitely had better mid-fights in the beginning of this entire map, but let's see how that does continue. Zems has decent, Stick is flung upon scouts and we're hopping around. Jordy again on the parachute.
Yep, taking a lot of attention in the sky, but nobody really playing off anything. Just playing a bit calm, really. And Af will be the first one to go down. The KN spent so much time waiting around in water. I know
Crunch! Munch! By the Americans! The soldiers set this all up! It's a full wipe! If you cannot believe your dreamy eyes, Jae Chun-pei has to hop out straight back to an A, but probably also back to the last point of the enemy team. White Lotus on a roll.
Yeah, I think what they also don't like about, they even get the sentry gun as well. No pyro for the sentry gun, but yeah, you can quickly convert and bin them at last on Gullywash, so really that kind of weakens DM's last point power. That's 3 people hanging out in water.
Hello! KN finds 3 players here in his face. Skis has still not popped, but now they're trying to pincer them. The Uber has to be popped responsibly. Pyro closer to River to deny it all.
Yeah, and the cannonballs as well. Very annoying. This Uber charge has done nothing, and they had a lot of time to actually capitalize with this.
It was a cheeky strat though. High Five comes closer.
Pyro's
Pyro to
down.
deny him anymore. There are some rocket ricochets flung onto the point. The Heavy is not aware. High Five, a double soldier on the last point. Can they nuke them in? Can they come out on top? Only Zems alive. You can only tantamountedly acclaim grandiloquently per orate the White Lotus 1-0 lead.
All the action is cutting me off from my points, and my point was going to be it's harder to make these last points last over on DM. There's so many tools that White Lotus have. If they get the wipe, they can already start rushing to that last point. It's not like a Granary where it's on the other side of the moon. You can have plenty of time on DM to set up. No, White Lotus can already meet and kind of dismantle things, and they can always just keep playing that point. Water is a brilliant avenue.
It was so great as well by White Lotus teaming up in the water area. It was coming to fruition. Jordy only bombs. Well, Logan ultimately finds that frag.
Okay, Logan taken out, but Zams also goes down as well, and Juxta brought down very low, but manages to stay on the high ground and keep himself safe. So DM have to pivot here. Our best defense on Gullywash is a good offense. If you could just start, like, you know, pushing them back to their own last point, getting those rounds in, which obviously the DM will have to do. And so expect, honestly, a high round turnover.
We're talking about White Lotus jumping at the bits, but it is now Dirty Maggots eating away at the opposition. Quite rotten, but might decompose a player soon enough here on the
Jordy!
Jordy jumps forward. Jesus Christ is not, though, bothered enough.
That was a nice jump, and that was a nice attempt, and a nice surf from Ski. So, nice all round. It was a little sad that there wasn't an extra follow-up, maybe to throw in there. Probably would have made things a difference, but what can you do?
What can you do? Well, you can still carry on. C-A-R-R-I-O-N on Dirty Maggots. Logan still post shot in the big door side. The Iron Bombers do not hit their target without any irony involved. Where Zeps shot down to quite low on HP.
Yeah, these are less so like pipes for actual hitting, more pipes for get back, please. Don't bug me. It's just you know, denying points here.
Stay out of my comfort zone, and discomfort that might soon arise though on the horizon is KN. Soon enough, not really called, goes behind.
Yep, KM walking past the stickies on the mini door, and he's going to start working his way inside and just kind of cutting them off in the health pack and then pressuring from the shutter.
Mesmerizing sequence of plays. Usually it is a now two-man player in the river. F follows suit on KN. They're still in the top, taking 1v2 here, but High Five very adeptly sees those players.
That's two people going in behind, so usually that means you can pressure this choke much easier over on White Lotus, because you know it's going to be weaker compared to the stacked up big ball.
Could be the case. Zems already does enable some stickies forward here. You have mentioned that it does allow some entrance way, but it is not the case if Zems can also just plug progressive stickies forward. They are soaring through the air towards White Lotus, but they have high ground dominion, and Skis also in a non-forcible situation, at least momentarily.
In bot mode, just saying, guys, you can just walk in. It's just that simple.
It's safe.
Well, KN though does go down, who is stuck in behind, and Jordy, that I was talking about it at that choke, very weak, and they will get the back cap flowing, but the cap on the middle caps at the same rate as the second point on Gullywash, so they're actually winning out this much stronger. Sure, they popped the Uber, but it's actually Juxta popping himself at the Uber.
He has to kill bind. We didn't have the cam on High Five, but he was blocking that second point. That was so well recognized. Jordy doesn't even, well, does find Chris now, and it is bad indeed.
This is very, very bad for DM. Without Juxta, no heals, no time to set up. They have the Uber charge. Just for the love of God, White Lotus, don't walk into water with it.
Not, well, I mean, they evidently were able to converse that round victory to themselves. I mean, it was the follow-up aggression then that just...
Skis, you have an Uber. Please use your Uber. Okay, right, we finally go in. We've used the Uber charge. We're getting a scout on point. Sticking up the point as well. Clearing
no, they come for you, dear!
And they're getting so much damage on this point. It's clean, it's concise, it's White Lotus.
It is White Lotus. Damage repellent, but damage propellant into the enemy team as well. Wonderful here. Skis not served ultimately, but they do not only have a man advantage through Shudder, they also have a bam 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 advantage through Shudder. Wonderful target selection, and it nails them into a 2-0 lead. They were on the brink of losing, but they're straight back onto a forward foot.
It's kind of arrogant, really, of the rest of the DM thinking Jordy could hold that choke on his own for long. So KN going down on this mid, trading, I should say, and they've got better high ground position over on DM, but they're finding the frags over on the floor, and when these Demomans jump to the floor anyway, they're just losing any sort of advantage they had. Fortunately, they keep Juxta alive. I think they're sticking to their fundamentals here, which is stop staying in and just start getting out.
It was insane deathmatch, by the way. We didn't have the cam on Logan, but Logan plugs.
Oh, headshot!
300 to 400 damage onto those players. KN, though, plugs another bullet and fills High Five up to the brim with lead, but this lead that might increase is now 100% in Skis bank. They're opting for Jay on Sniper. Jackstar also has.
So they know that KN's on Sniper, but they don't know Jay is on Sniper. They heard him, so they probably should have heard the audio. Oh, close!
Good night, sweet prince. It is a trade out anyway.
I mean, I'm happy if I'm Jordy. Yeah, sure, I die, but I probably would die from just spam. So getting the headshot is like a quicker respawn. Copium.
0 damage there with 4 point.
Oh no, not the water again.
Not the water. Drink your water in disquiet if you do know that. Slamdish is on the field. Bomo not able to inflict onto high five. Sorry, he protects basically Juxta there.
I wonder how much you'd have to take from the water to realize, I wonder if I should move my sentry gun. I know it's very taboo here to kind of move it away from your medic, but I think the point is a bigger priority than your medic.
Definitely judging from this flow of the game so far, Slamnish reassumes his sharpshooter duties, comes close and interloper in the ranks, 185 hit points on early enough, peeking toward main.
Nobody's going to be on the floor though, so they need to work in tandem with the rest of his team to kind of knock people or encourage them to go on the floor here.
The freedom stuff comes out. Slamnish wants to liberate those defensive players of his life subscription. So let's peer toward the corner here, around the corner, no one though close. Slamnish doesn't find the angle.
Nice
Jordy though, the land of the free. That shot is so free!
Sentry gun is down as well. Everyone's spinning. 360 does not dodge a sniper scope.
So much game time gains!
Coming out from Jay.
They're winning this!
The filthy stick!
Close! Enough! And NA, the land of the free. That last point is so fun, so free. Sorry, almost swore there.
That pain train is just, well, painful. It's they just have an extra scout on the kit for White Lotus. They obviously sense the theme, and the weakness here for DM is they just don't prioritize that point as much as they should.
Definitely, but also White Lotus playing so well around that they know that Dirty Maggots have to always have this in the back of their minds. Juxta has a lot of mechanics, but this doesn't really bail you out of all of those positions. High five in Jay, Chris, high five, falling skis, can surf it out, but not if Zams comes into the fray.
Yeah, they're playing a lot more defensive on DM. They're actually doing a big door hold. You don't really see this too often, because sometimes if you just gain the ground over on White Lotus, you can just kind of slowly push them out. But they absorb all the real aggressors over on White Lotus and then take that man advantage against White Lotus over on DM. And now they're actually the ones commanding this game. They've got an Uber advantage for the first time.
In the river of Dirty Maggots, but it was not to be. Bot mode found a sticky trap by Logan. Sticky Suffused, is what you call this scenario. 100% feature up against 30%. Jay on Sniper and River.
Okay, so Jay's been called. He's going to get spammed out close at the door, so no worries about that. Already stacking up this second point. We've got a crit squeak on skis, but no, we haven't. So they are going to Uber in straight away. Kind of a mishap sticky jump. It's fine. We're going to clean up the sentry gun. We've got ×2 on the cap. 3 people, but we need to find the damage for the point. Where is it? Where is Zams and his damage?
And most importantly, where are those soldiers back into the respawn queue? 4 people perish on Dirty Maggots, not able to replicate what White Lotus had in the bank to such a wonderful extent in their own conversion rates onto that last point. They always had the splash damage classes forward. Ultimately though, it is Slamnish and Skis now.
Skis comes back on the crit squeak, so I'm guessing he must have gone down during all of that chaos, but Juxta has quite a head start ahead of him, so I'm not sure if Skis is really going to manage to clip anybody with this crit squeak before an Uber charge comes out.
Let's roleplay as Botmo Sniper Gun Rifle!
450! He's been put down 4 times!
And let's enter bot mode here as he is scoping out, but he's scoping out that there was a
dead mode.
Dead mode. Though push mode right now. Zem says Uber pocket until
take out the sentry gun. They're stacking up the
left.
There you go. Much better from DM. And would you look at that crits? It never even came into play.
What is even better, you gain the post-accumulation crits, so I guess that also does work. But in the end, you see it here. Bot mode. Bam! And into a carnival of carnage, basically. You do not want to miss out on that man. And it nails them into a 3-1.
3-1 is the score line. DM, they found their mid-fight to go for. So they're probably going to just do the exact same. See if they can play it out from this floor, play it defensively. But they're going to be adapting on White Lotus. They won't throw their lives away this time.
F is the very first recipient of a pipe from
nice
Logan.
Damage from Jordy.
Only 4 HP
but this is what I'm talking about. They're so defensive over on DM. They don't prioritize Juxta's life so much that they can't follow up on this damage and this position because they're expecting this aggression from White Lotus. But they're not going to do that twice in a row.
The problem is also we are reassuming the last point.
Jay?
You pay onto the last point. Zems here, Jaehyun Pei ultimately not finding the follow-up rocket. It is Logan just peering toward a main side. Juxta at least alive, but I do agree on that account. If you play so defensive, you're basically betting and asking for you to be put on the last point.
Alright, so back to last week go, and DM, they really, for the love of God, need to learn about this point and who is put into priority of it. I know they're going to be talking about it. They're not dumb players, but I want to see what their solution is to all this pressure of the point.
The answer is Jay imploring his play through to main, peeking slowly, ever so slowly, swaying to the right until we find field progress here in the feet of Zems, but not hit M on heavy, and now very easy rockets.
Okay, nice, Jordy, keeping up with the sniper, making sure that he just doesn't have these constant attempts at his lives. Anything you can just cut out to kind of from the chaos to make these point plays a little bit more front and center is always good.
Definitely. We have not yet, though, reached the final verdict. Who are we to adjudicate? The jury is set again on Jay. Jay once more spawns on Sniper, still wants to try this.
Okay, so it's okay. It's fine.
Yes.
I mean, why not try again, you know? It's hard for Jordy to keep up this compared to Jay. Jay has a lot more attempts at shots than Jordy will of catching him. And we've got no counter sniper from DM. I think they feel like they just need too many solid bodies that can jump on the point at any moment. So this leaves Jay a little unchecked.
Oh no, he's going right again!
Wise.
Juxta, don't do this again to us! We saw the same formula.
Oh no, he's bullying the person on point. That's even scarier
no,
than the
Juxta!
medic.
Oh, it is so close, always incrementally
That was
being
like 5 HP there.
out of their hand. We saw this as well on the very first map, or a process even, like Juxta not really respecting the sniper angle, but there are not that many venues where you can even hide your own view model from. Logan has rinse and repeat damage.
They're throwing in a soldier while they're building the sentry gun, so that was a bit awkward for a moment there, but High Five doesn't find it.
High Five does not find it yet. Still though, Jay on the field, I talked to about it before. Gullywash, you know, rinse and repeat. No one washed just yet. Jay still on Sniper. Eventually he will find a shot, but only 1 minute and 40 seconds to go.
Jordy, thinking about the Riverside, but Riverside's a lot more of a hero shot moment rather than just constantly going main, going balcony, going main again. And finds the shot onto Jordy. That's the anti-sniper, by the way. So Jay's been like a little bit more loud. Yeah, he'll get a puff of flame, but it's okay. They've got skis to heal him back up and get the flames off. 230. This man is possible to die, but the arrow comes out quicker than the soldier. They will get the kill onto Zams. They're falling apart the seams here. It's a different kind of flavor of failure.
As well. Juxta pops it onto F. Jay still wants to engulf all of those players into a fiery
Juxta's stuck. He's stuck
behind the crates.
Help him.
Not so great for him. Zems also before.
They lost Jordy though, trying to help out their medic from getting out that position, but fortunately all the respawners have come back now, but Jay is still sticking around. They need their anti-sniper man Jordy to come back and find him.
Jay is still there, straight lethal. Zems also hit behind the crates. It is
not my stickies.
Not my stickies. How dare you? But Chris dares
They've actually
to have Uber popped onto him. KN also shot down and trying to shut down those players on the rim here. Only
they got the medic out. There's no Uber charge for them to protect their points. They even get a scout as well. It's only Zams against the world. What is one lonely demo man to do? It's 4-1.
4-1 indeed. But not the entire timer. Ticking down just about now, as we are also entering most probably another mid-fight soon enough. So now progressive overtime rule kicks in, which means whoever gets 5-pointer there on the total points. And if DM are managing to do that...
How much time was left on the timer when they capped that point? They probably could have just chilled.
Yeah, could have just delayed it. We saw this before, by the way. This is sort of the tactic. But now KN up in the sky here. If Dirty Maggots turn this around, it's going to be a comeback of absolute felony quantities.
Oh.
No skis is protecting himself.
Yep, again, you see the DM adaptation, keep Juxta alive, play defensive, and just try and get skis down, but they've just managed to find the zen here over on this Gullywash map for White Lotus, and just keeping everything.
White Lotus also want to show you don't need those cheeky strats here to only cap it with the normal regulation time. We can even cap a 5-1, but it's a Rocket Soldier showdown in water. Logan comes close to main here. Some stickies flung forth. 1v1 trade.
Okay, we cap off second point, and high five. He's in. There's no sentry gun or heavy weapons guy targeting him to deal with the man, and this is annoying. It allows maybe them to poke in from White Lotus, and they lose. They're exchanging right now, but they're not really losing too much. Chris is brought down to like one-shottable levels of health, and he will go down to one shot.
We have seen this before. Chris comes close to the point. It is always a daunting prospect. KN up to this guy here. Logan has to basically rotate his own Puma.
He actually got out.
He is still surviving. Zems is bombed, however. He's the recipient. One pipe into high five. It only really serves.
Oh, no! That's not my meme spoon!
At least this is a force. So they have now to battle against the last year. Logan
knocking them out again!
The NA players are coming close here, but their team Maggots jumping at the bits.
They don't dare leave the point. They don't dare chase them out because they don't know where they're coming from.
Chris, close. Juxta also lives.
High five. Going into my favorite pug spot.
It
actually goes for the jump onto Zams instead. He's actually going to settle for the medic. 8 HP! Thank goodness for 8 HP. But Juxta.
My kingdom for 8 HP. They're still galloping forth in some aggressive haste here. 3 players are late spawners. High five still in the respawn.
Oh, 450. That man's been put down twice.
Welcome to the J Show. This is my map right now, but I said it before. If Dirty Maggots try to come back, it does start at least with decent conversion rates in the Ubers itself. Juxta still features a Uber advantage.
The best defense is a good offense, and they've got the control now. They have the Uber advantage over on DM, but I don't think they'll be able to successfully use it against White Lotus, so they're going to have to treat it as a safety net and just gain as much ground with the threat of it as possible. But it doesn't help that, my players keep dying on the flank.
How dare you, how dare you, but Logan also had wonderful pipes there flung forth, and now they're taking this initiative route here, quite proactive, quite offensive.
They don't even have the Uber.
Through River, if you're American and you are just trusting into your own deathmatch capabilities, you do not need an Uber. Target selection is way more important. KN though, clap slam this down. This Uber, this dry fight is called off.
That was an important frag coming out from KN to get onto Slemish. It really relieves all the pressure that was being put onto them, because all that pressure opens up for Jay on this sniper class, who's just getting hotter by the minute, it feels like.
He's rotating himself out. Jay cannot hit that Beyblade soldier, but eventually it is the archaic antique. If he doesn't see you, you don't see him. Jay is still the post shot in Victor.
He's analysed, he's scanned Zam's movements, and he predicts he's going to stand right here any second now. Yes, he agrees with me. Yes, yes, he is going to stand right here.
Right where we want him, but also Zems is aware.
That's not a demo man, though. I want a demo man, says Jay.
Oh, settle for Jordi instead. Peek around the corner, but he unscopes, so doesn't really shine anything.
He's getting braver by the moment.
He jumps on the warning sign. That could be a warning sign for Dirty Maggots here. It's quite hectic.
Oh, he finally will go down. KN puts the dog down.
Indeed, KN, karma, nuke, basically. I don't think that's the official.
F managed to get in from choke.
F comes through to joke. Also, Jordi in behind their lions. They're slowly ripping them apart here.
Yeah, nobody dares jump in though. He doesn't want to throw away this advantage for his team. They're seeing if they go aggressive, gets the jump onto Zams. Zams means no damage for this potential Uber charge.
Could be very bad for them, honestly. I mean, Jordi is still here.
Yo, surprise!
Surprise, 2 versus 1. But in the grand scheme of things, it also changes that this Uber fight here will not be beneficial.
Oh no, not
Maybe
the panic Uber.
Doesn't need to pop at all.
It doesn't.
F wants to be forward,
He's
but
gonna get chased.
Logan is
run, doggy, run!
Run! As they still have to battle, though. I mean, it is them.
Oh, the drop! The drop
from KN!
Oh my God! Did anyone get the license plate on that KN?
He is speeding so fast through this game. Also, Zems coming in huge. High five down low onto so many players, but no, he is called. Jordi is absolutely walled by a combination of Jay and Slemnish. What a wonderful friction of symbiosis.
Thank goodness that White Lotus DM bailed them out there, because that Uber charge drop from any other team would be deafening and really lethal, but they managed to hold their ground here, and now it's time to go in once more, Donator.
It was quite dreadful, honestly, from Dirty Magazine. So many players at the entranceway of even pushing forward, but ultimately Zeps comes close, especially with the respawns, and now F comes even closer here. He has
the door.
the scattergun in hand, and let's see if he can find any more players to eradicate. No, all of them are jumping out.
Oh no, the
with the 2K.
overextended sticky trap.
Bomo F.
He's going to get another kill.
Does he? Does
Okay,
not.
well, we should have got another kill. My script says he gets another
Oh
kill.
no!
Oh no, that's the kill! That was the kill! That was the kill!
He is trapped in a 5k for Logan. They want to catapult themselves into a victory, into a lower bracket final.
Panic stations, heavy weapons guy, engineers, Zam's getting to water. Wait, don't want water, getting sneaky. Bot mode on Pyro, everybody just start scrambling.
Inject paranoia, desperation seeps in. 100% here in Skisbang. They want to trample forth. They want to be so aggressive here. Sentry got early spammed out.
What is the Pyro doing if he's not knocking pipes rollers of the sentry gun?
Now it is coming closer though. The Uber comes forth. So much destructive stickies, but the sentry
He's
gun
ignoring the
stabilized.
sentry gun. He gets the Pyro. That's
But they get the
much better.
breaks here. They clean up house.
Not like this.
They came
Not
from
like
North
this.
America
No.
not to be knocked out, but to go into the lower bracket final. Keep on rolling onto European soil, and the next matchup is Witness Gaming.
Well, that was pretty good. Well done, Americans. I'm really impressed.
Decent shot.
Oh. I'm feeling quite cathartic in all this. I guess we need to throw it over to our lovely little analytical couch and see if they're feeling cathartic about this too.
Well. America not doing so bad after all. White Lotus looking much more comfortable here on Gullywash, Sunny.
Yeah, they had a bit of a slow start to the series, losing map 1, playing extraordinarily slow on map 2, but then just honestly dominating on Gullywash. Like we were saying, the playstyles are going to clash the most here, and we saw it. DM still trying, but they just had they found no quarter on this map whatsoever. They were sitting on their last pretty much the entire time. And then White Lotus, even if they botched a couple of pushes here and there, they had so many opportunities, eventually managing to round it out and going to, well, the full 5 score, even if in overtime. That shows they're here to fight.
I think for me, this J Snipers series is so
Unbelievable.
impressive. This clip where Juxta just can't go anywhere. He's just stuck in this corner. And eventually, when he finally does peek out, comes out of spawn, instantly one-tapped back into the spawn queue.
And this shot out to Af.
Oh, it's such a nice little follow-up.
Unbelievable. We're talking about impact. That's an impactful player. You don't see roamers fragging as much as Jay frags nowadays, man. It's just a rarity. A lot of them, especially in EU, a lot of our soldiers are kind of just the Jordy playstyle. Like, not to the same extreme extent, but they fall into that. They just kind of send themselves in. If it doesn't do anything, at least you made space. At least you're a distraction. But Jay is so impactful on the frags as well.
And it's in the big moments as well that Jay is there to save his team. I believe we have bit of a American representation joining us on the desk. Chris, victorious now. How are you feeling, bro?
Dude, that was a match of all time. I don't know. It's haven't played a match like that in a while, just because I don't play that many seasons, and it kind of doesn't really go to that extent. In just kind of having those last setups, you're just on last the whole game, So it's like okay. But yeah, I mean, they had the iron grip on last. They had that iron grip on it. So, you just gotta keep trying, keep attempting to break it, and eventually it worked out. So,
talk to me about having to come back on that process game. You lost your own Mac pick of Granary, and then on process, what's the mentality shift for you coming in, having to come back on the opponent's map pick?
I don't think I pay it, I don't think it matters. Like, oh, we lost on our pick. You kind of just treat each map as like I guess maybe it depends on the team, but against these guys, it's kind of just like, okay, process is next, just play process. We're confident on any map. We don't care. So I think it's just like, okay, they played Granary. That was really lame. From our perspective, it's really lame, right? All right, just go next. And they're going to try and play a similar way in process too. And, this guy's on parachute running around, or not running, flying around. I'm like, so it was just, you got to stay confident. It's always winnable. And so a bit of a nail biter, though, that process. My cheeks clenched. So it was fun, for what it is.
How did that Gullywash game feel for you? Because you obviously played this super, super slow process, and then you come into Gullywash, and it sort of looked like you guys turned a new leaf. Jay came back in and was so strong towards the end there. Did you do anything in between the games to sort of come back in that sense, or is Gullywash just a much better map for you guys, do you think?
Yeah, that last part. I mean, so I never played a Granary match like that, where their combo just kind of didn't participate in the mids. And they just kind of were banking on trying to kill the medic on mids, and then just let's a hold last. And that was kind of all it was, and we couldn't break it. And so, so it's something that we kind of you play that and you kind of learn. If we play them again, I think it'll go differently. But process is what you're saying. The map is just conducive to let's perma snipe. It's it can get like that. Gully's not like that. Gully, it's kind of, you can kind of take, that momentum and all that. So, and I think we just are more drilled in breaking the Gully last hold too, a little bit, even though it wasn't, it was still a struggle, but a little better than the other maps. So that's what it was.
You're going to be playing up against Witness next. You managed to take a map off of them in your last series.
Yeah.
Any changes you're planning to bring that you're willing to disclose coming into this next series?
I'll definitely not disclose.
Oh.
What are you, nuts? No, I mean...
They're not watching.
I mean, it's, we're definitely looking forward to playing them. Going into this day, it's like, we're playing bot mode. Obviously, he's American. I played a bunch of... So I was like, we're playing bot mode first. That'll be cool. We're playing Witness next. That's always fun. And Mandem, next if we win the Witness one. So... Just an exciting day. Nothing's changed about that, so looking forward to it.
It's a bit of a gauntlet you'd have to run as well if you want to make it all the way to that finals. You have to just played one best of 3. You have to play another one. Maybe I guess you're hoping for only 2 maps if you want to go to the finals.
I like the playtime. I like the playtime from a lower bracket run. I've played other LANs, I've played other series, and I've been in upper bracket. I've been in lower bracket. I like the playtime.
Is there anyone in particular on Witness that you're really looking out for when you come up against them again?
Not really. They're just a team, They're like and they try to they're pretty drilled. They have a specific idea how they want to play each map. Their tendencies don't change, they kind of just this guy does this guy does that. And so kind of just treat it as that. No individual standout, which is fine. It's not like a diss, you know what I mean? I'm saying that's just how it feels playing them,
Do you think you've done some research, learned a bit from the game of Witness and Mandem, seen what broke Witness, how Mandem maybe approached those maps, and learned a thing or two from it? Or do you think Witness is just gonna adapt? They're gonna do that thing that they tend to do when they get knocked down, and then just come back way stronger today and maybe throw you for a loop again?
I think Witness is in a tricky spot where they had a close series against us. We're always very confident, and they lost to Mandem, so they're kind of. I think mentally they're in a tricky spot right now. I think obviously they're going to adapt. Obviously yesterday they talked a lot about what they want to change, what they want to do, how much time they could devote to each team. I don't know. That's their decision. But I'm looking forward to it. I know Mandem beating them in that series. It just kind of shows how. They seem pretty the way they play is kind of pretty specific for WG. They kind of reminds us of versus like Froyo versus WGNA back when they were a thing. It's very. I'm talking about G6. It's kind of specific for those teams. I kind of see that with Mandem WG, which is kind of cool. You watch it, it's like, oh, okay. So, I think our games are going to flow differently than the Mandem WG one. So, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I think it'll be a banger.
How are you? How are you enjoying the LAN so far? You've been here for a while. This is your first European LAN.
Yeah.
Vibes are good.
Vibes are good. Vibes are good. I think. I think. I like. Honestly, I like the city. You know what I mean? Which is good because we were at Denver. We were in the boonies. It's like, oh, you're in the burbs. So it's kind of like that alone kind of elevates the LAN experience, and everyone's chill, everyone's nice. So that's all. That's what it's all about.
Made any new European friends?
A little bit. Hey, we got one over here. We got turbo tabs. So that's one. They're really nice. So it's good.
All right. I think just for the moment, I think I'm going to ask you any sort of final thoughts, any final shout-outs you have.
Final shout-outs. LAN's not over yet. Shout-out to Charmcork. Shout-out to the G6 boys. I think they're watching. I don't know if they're watching right now, but they're watching the games. The Froyo Familia. Always shout-out to them. And shout-out to my team and the teams that we're playing.
All right, well, we've got the schedule up on our screen. So that was the lower bracket final coming up next. Ben, big addition to everyone watching here in the venue. At 18:30, we're going to be taking a group photo before that grand final, which is going to be Mandem playing versus the winner, whoever comes out on top versus Witness and White Lotus. But we're going to go to a break. When we come back, it's going to be that lower bracket final. Don't go anywhere.
I'm Nicholas. I play for the Tub in Invite currently, but I also play for Fjord Gaming.
I'm Yosh. I play for Fjord Gaming as a backup. Here for Fjord Gaming in the LAN as well.
I'm Nighty. I currently play for Fish 12 in Load.
I'm Af, and I play for the Dirty Maggots.
Bomo DM. So I'm Ear, or also Ear Flameon. I play for Lankle Monitor.
I'm Royal, and I also play for LAN Monitor.
Red.
Blue team.
Red team.
Red team. Red team.
Red team.
Tossle cap.
My favourite is the grey dance. Halloween spells.
Class crown.
The bugs. The spiders.
Medic spouting cap.
Gibbous.
Gibbous is between like the Gibbous and the Duck Hat. I feel like the Duck Hat's like gaining a popularity.
Yeah, it's getting traction.
Oh yeah, nah. I'm comfortable with it. I think they're both fine.
Yeah, NA format.
EU.
NA.
EU.
Oz Fortress.
DM.
DM warm up.
DM warm up.
MG. Kovacs.
Jump maps.
That guy.
Yes. I don't know.
Yes.
Nah. Yep.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Scout flare opinion.
Sniper.
Sniper.
Yeah.
Sniper.
Low-key spy.
Geordie has shown me the parachute tick, so parachute.
I've got man treads because Sunshine last year.
Man treads.
Parachute. Every time.
Both woke nonsense.
Shout out Brutalix.
You have to go.
If you know, you know. Me.
Banny.
Goat. I mean, I feel like objectively it has to be like Banny.
Objectively,
right?
have to be Banny.
But like,
I don't know.
I think like the more modern like answer could be 1920. That guy is a fucking fiend.
That guy is a god. Yeah.
That would be warped.
Low key, I'm gonna go ball.
Dude. We'll go.
Skis.
Me.
Lucas.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like Lucas, or maybe, I don't know. I could see a Slem come back, honestly, if he's on it.
Yeah, I feel like if the Yanks win, I feel like it's probably Slemnish, but if it's like Witness Gaming, yeah, I feel like it's got to be like Lucas.
Yeah, that's true.
If it's not me, Jordy.
Yeah, if it's not Air, probably. I'm actually going to go Mac.
Probably Witness Gaming.
Witness Gaming, yeah.
Witness. Whatever.
I'm praying for Dirty Maggots. I hope they can do it.
I Witness probably will, but yeah, Dirty Maggots.
Alright. DM. There's quite a few. Let's go.
Pretty much everyone.
Pretty much everyone. Mac's overrated.
Bot mode.
All of NA's overrated.
Alexandros.
Damn, Shady, you're cheating. Oh, man.
Witness Gaming overrated.
I'll have to go with the Dross as well. You know what?
You're overrated.
Yeah, who's the... yeah, Slimnish.
Yeah.
I dropped him easy.
Yeah, he walked into a spam rock.
He walked
What's he
into
doing,
pipe.
bro?
Terrible.
Go on. Slanish.
Bill. Fancy. Do you want me to answer? We'll go Fancy again.
No one.
The elf.
KN.
I have the USB.
Well, I don't know. I haven't stood behind Fancy yet, so. Ooh.
I feel like Slem. The amount of times that I've just been hit by like an insane headshot playing that guy, right? Like, I really don't think, but like.
Yeah, no, some are Jay, honestly. Jay's also cracked.
Played against Jay last, so.
Yeah.
Win LAN.
Yeah, win LAN. LAN's a good time.
Win LAN.
Win LAN.
LAN. Win LAN.
Win LAN, yeah.
Oh, whoa. No, yeah.
Dead.
Dead, like, oh, that guy's so rolled, probably.
As a scout, as a soldier player, when I played soldier, yeah, I'm dead or off head, and then as a scout player, just leave, man.
Yeah.
Unusing.
Just nukes.
Happy.
Kill the dog.